Well, it's another overcast day here at Yankee Stadium, but we are going to have baseball tonight. Another big crowd is making its way to the Bronx, and Mike Messina will start for the Yankees and try to keep the trend of solid starting pitching going. Last time out, he did very, very well. As tonight, the Yes Network presents New York Yankees baseball. It's the Arizona Diamondbacks against the New York Yankees in the middle game of a three-game set from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Yankees baseball. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. Things are going well for the Yankees. They've won 7 in a row, and they're keeping pace with the Red Sox and the Tigers. Both those teams ahead of the Yankees, one in the wild card, one in the American League East. They won as well. Now, it's getting a little bit tiresome, but this could be the Bobby Abreu Open. It's hard to talk about the Yankee hot streak without talking about how hot Bobby Abreu has been.
Well, is it a coincidence that the Yankees are playing such good baseball, and Bobby Abreu has gotten on this tear right now? Last night, he extends his hitting streak to 11 games. A home run deep to right center in the first inning, a 3-run shot off of Brandon Webb. That was really the difference in this ball game. But Bobby Abreu now all of a sudden has gotten locked in, and the Yankees are playing better because of it.
11-game hitting streak, 488, highest in the major leagues over that span. Anyone with a minimum of 40 at-bats, 9 extra base hits, 12 ribbies, and an on-base percentage of .596. So that's the high-profile guy. But there's a little guy in the lineup that also has meant a lot to this Yankee resurgence. Surprisingly enough, that's Miguel Cairo.
Well, Joe Torre now has an opportunity to find places for Miguel Cairo to play, and it happens to be first base. And when you're a bench player for Joe Torre, you have to do the little things. Good fielding, nice double play right there. He's giving Joe Torre some quality at bats, but most importantly, it's the energy that he's bringing in this ball club. If you're a bench player, when you get in there, you got to give a little bit something. Miguel Cairo is doing that for Joe Torre.
And he saved a couple of errors with some sparkling plays at first base. Look at this unbelievable play yesterday that took a base hit away from the Diamondbacks. He's done everything they could possibly have asked since he's been inserted in the lineup. Let's look at tonight's New York Lottery pitching matchup. Levon Hernandez will go for the Diamondbacks 5-3 with a 3.66. Mike Messina, he's 2-3 with a high ERA for him of 5.63. The Yankee starters feel good, though, because they know at the end of the game they have a resurgent Mariano Rivera. He is his old self. He's been unbelievable of late. When we come back here on Yes, we have Mo on Mo. That's next. A familiar scene here at Yankee Stadium as Mariano Rivera makes his way in from the bullpen to the strains of Enter Sandman. And he did that last night, and he did a good job. He pitched the 1-2-3 ninth inning. And, John, he seems like a little bit of a different pitcher than the one that we saw in April and May. What is the difference?
Well, you know what you said, familiar coming in from the bullpen. What's familiar now is the location for Mariano Rivera. He's always had the good life this year. He's had the good cut on the fastball and the good movement on the sinker. But now the location is back. He's pounding the strike zone early, right on the corners. He's elevating when he wants to, and everything is back to old form for Mariano Rivera. He's back on track.
They didn't use him a lot early because there were not a lot of save situations. Of late, there have been, and you see more of what we've seen in the past. First 12 games, he was 1-3 with an 8.44. The opponent's hitting .318 against him in just 3 saves. In his last 13 games, 1-0, 0.63. Opponents hitting .163 and 5 saves. Does he get a chance tonight? Well, we'll have the lineups and the first pitch of tonight's game when we get back right here on Yes. Well, there seems to be rain in the air, but it looks like it's going to hold up because we're about to start a baseball game here at Yankee Stadium. Mike Messina on the mound. Yankees have taken the field behind him. And let's take a look at the Arizona Diamondbacks starting lineup presented by Rico that Mike Messina is going to face. Eric Burns in left field leading off, batting second, and DHing Connor Jackson. Orlando Hudson, the second baseman, will hit third. Good numbers lifetime against Messina. Chad Tracy's at first, Mark Reynolds at third. Steven Drew is the shortstop. Batting seventh, playing center field, Chris Young. Miguel Montero will catch. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and playing right field, Carlos Quinton. Mike Messina on the mound for the Yankees. This will be his 10th start. 5.63 ERA to go with a 2-3 mark. 54 hits in 46 innings, and the strikeout to walk ratio is about 2-1.
We'll take a look at the Land Rover pitcher scouting report, looking to change the trend. Mike Messina has not won in his last 5 starts. He's not gotten a W. He's looking to change that tonight. And gold is rubbing off. Mike Messina, the Gold Glover, his defense has played great behind him in his starts. They've not made an error. And personal attention. Will Nieves catching him again. 5 starts, 2-0, and the opponent's hitting only .250.
And the first pitch to Eric Burns is a strike. So we are underway here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. It is 64 degrees here on a June evening. A little colder than what you expect this time of the year. The 0-1. A little bit low. The umpires tonight. Bill Welke is behind the plate. Laz Diaz at first. Rob Drake is at second. And over at third, Wally Bell. And the 1-1. Popped up. Shallow right. Coming in is Abreu. He's there. And there's one away. Let's take a look at the Yankees defensively. You know that Abreu's in right. Making a cameo in center is Johnny Damon, his first start in center since May 30th. And Matsui is in left. In the infield, we'll go third to first. Rodriguez, Jeter, Cano, and Cairo. Behind the plate, Will Nieves. And on the mound is Mike Messina. Now, the Yankee lineup is a little different because Melky Cabrera is not in there because Nieves is catching. Posada is the DH. And Damon, who had been DHing, is playing center field. So when the game of musical chairs is over, Melky Cabrera is the one without a seat, although he has one in the dugout. Now, the question is this. How much difference does a personal catcher, I put that in quotes, mean for a pitcher?
Well, obviously, being a catcher, an ex-catcher myself, I put a lot of stock into it. You know, this is a relationship now that Mike Mussina is comfortable with. It gives Will Nieves a day when he knows he's going to play.
Connor Jackson pops one up to Cano, 2-away. IO Digital Cable is the exclusive official HD sponsor for Yankees telecast on Yes.
You know, getting back to that point, you know, Joe Torre doesn't like to name personal catchers. You know, it's one of the things he tries to stay away from. But if Mike Mussina is comfortable with this relationship, he's going to go with it and see if he can get some results. And I actually like the idea. You see the numbers right there. Will 2-0 with a .250 batting average against. I like the idea. I think Jorge Posada knows the day he's going to get a day off. He can prepare, go to the weight room, do his thing. Will Nieves knows when he's going to play. So it's kind of like the Boston thing with Veritek and Mirabelli.
What's interesting, though, is that let's say Messina likes this. In effect, he's choosing a much less offensively potent lineup.
And that's his choice. He feels like the defensive aspect, being more comfortable with Will Nieves, whatever it is, and you don't want to say he's more comfortable. It's just working right now. He would rather go that way than take the big bat in there.
Pitch to Orlando Hudson is outside 1-1. Yankees baseball is broadcast in Spanish. It's available by hitting the SAP button on your television. And SAP is brought to you by Toyota, a smart way to keep moving forward.
It's been a good start for Mike Mussina so far. Not that he's gotten the first 2 outs. Obviously, that's good. But he's hit that fastball down and away, which is a good sign for him early.
Hit sharply and past a diving Cairo and up against the tarp. Just went off the tip of his glove as Hudson will hustle himself into a 2-out double.
And Michael, you talked about it when we went through the lineups. Orlando Hudson has good numbers against Mike Mussina. And the first thing that I think about is Orlando Hudson is a good off-speed hitter. Mike Mussina obviously has a lot of off-speed pitches, and that was that curveball right there. Miguel Cairo, nice bid, made some great plays last night. Nice try on that one just off the tip of his glove. But there are some pitchers is a good matchup for a hitter, and Mike Mussina, who throws a lot of off-speed pitches. See, the curveball stays up a little bit right in Orlando Hudson's wheelhouse. It's just a good matchup for him.
Here's Chad Tracy now with a runner in scoring position, 2 away. Tracy 1 hit in his last 7 at-bats, hitting an even .300. And there's a strike.
You know what, Bill Welke, the home plate umpire, he's going to play an important role in this ball game. I mean, both of these starting pitchers, Mike Mussina and Hernandez for Arizona, they like to pitch off the plate. They like to work the umpire and see how much they can get off of the plate. So Bill Welke is going to be a very important piece of the puzzle tonight.
And the 0-1. 0-2. The Diamondbacks, in their last 10 games with runners in scoring position, 6 for 60. So they have not been getting the job done for Bob Melvin. And Orlando Hudson is in scoring position. This is not a great hitting team. They went on pitching and defense. They try to scratch out runs. And the 0-2. upstairs. Diamondbacks have been slumping. They've lost 4 of 5, but since May 6th, they are 21-12, which is the best mark in the National League since that time. They lost last night's game to the Yankees 4-1. Crowd looking for the strikeout. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Nieves. There was a check swing, and Wally Bell said he did not go. Tracy was the offense last night.
And you'll see the location on this pitch. It was down and in, and it was an interesting choice. Mike Mussina and Will Nieves right there. They went to a curveball that was down and in, but you noticed he bounced it. You know, that might be a strength for Chad Tracy, down and in, but you can go a little bit lower than that and try to get him to chase. He did a good job of holding up the swing.
And the 2-2. High fly ball, left center. Johnny Damon is there. And he puts it away for the final out of the first inning. So Mike Mussina threw 14 pitches, no runs, a hit, and 1 man left. Diamondbacks nothing, and the Yankees coming to bat. Livan Hernandez taking his warm-ups, and we'll take a look at the Yankees starting lineup that he's going to face, and it's presented as always by our good friends in Rico. Johnny Damon in center field tonight will lead off, batting second and playing shortstop. The captain, Derek Jeter. Bobby Abreu red hot in right field, will hit third. His numbers against Hernandez from the National League: 281, 2 homers, 6 ribbies. Alex Rodriguez, the third baseman, will clean up, batting fifth, and DHing Jorge Posada. Hideki Matsui in left field will bat sixth. The number 7 hitter for the Yankees, second baseman Robinson Cano. Miguel Cairo is at first again, batting eighth, and batting ninth and catching Will Nieves. Livan Hernandez gets the start for the D-backs, his 14th start. 86 hits in 86 innings, and the strikeout to walk ratio is not very good. It's almost 1-to-1, and 6 home runs in those 86 innings.
Well, look at the scouting report brought to you by Land Rover. He pitches out of the zone. He tries to throw the ball to the corners and off of the plate. It'll be interesting to watch Montero, the catcher, working behind the plate, probably setting up off the plate. And 4 to go. He needs 4 strikeouts for 1,500.
And there's a strike to Johnny Damon.
And if you're the Yankees tonight, you're going to look to get on your horse and try and steal some bases. Base stealers have been successful, 8 out of 8 attempts off of Hernandez.
The 0-1. 0-2. Damon, 11 hits in his last 34 at-bats. Slaps the 0-2 the other way.
And Hernandez is not going to overpower you, Michael. I mean, his fastball right there, 85 miles an hour. He does it with movement. He tries to hit the corners. He tries to get you to chase. He's got a good off-speed pitch, but he's just a veteran guy who knows how to pitch. Tries to get you to swing at his pitch instead of laying a cookie in there for you.
And his half-brother, El Duque, Orlando Hernandez, will be on that same mound on Sunday when the Mets play the Yankees on Sunday night. And the 1-2. High fly ball left field. Wind takes it just a bit. Burns is there, 1 away. Let's show you the entire Arizona defensive schematic. You know that Burns is in left. You've got Young in center and Quinton over in right. In the infield, third to first. Reynolds, Drew, Hudson, and Tracy. Drew has not made an error in his last 33 games. Montero behind the plate, and Hernandez is on the mound. Here's Derek Jeter. Now, Livan Hernandez has not allowed a home run to a right-handed batter since May 27th. In fact, that's the only one he's allowed this year. That was Morgan Ensberg of the Astros. And there's a strike. And the thing that you like with Hernandez on your staff is he gives you innings. He's a workhorse. That one's drilled to center field and deep. Going back Young. Still back. Still back. It's over his head and up against the wall. Jeter gets himself a double. And that's an 8-game hitting streak for Jeter.
Just another 8-game hitting streak for Derek Jeter. You see this ball catches a lot more plate than Hernandez wanted right there. He tried to go to the outside corner, ran back to the middle. Derek Jeter with good strength to the middle of the field the other way, just drives this ball right over Young's head, and he runs well. He's not going to be able to catch up with this one. Derek Jeter standing on second base easily. We saw Young run the bases last night. He's got blazing speed. This ball just hit too hard.
15 double of the year for Jeter. Here's the red-hot Abreu. Pitch outside. Yankees have had great success here at the stadium against National League teams. They are 31-7 in home games against the National League since June 12th of 03. They beat the Cy Young Award winner from last year, Brandon Webb, last night. 1-0. 2-0. In the month of June, Bobby Abreu hitting .488, 2 homers, 12 ribbies, 9 extra base hits. And right now he's riding an 11-game hitting streak.
You know what, Michael, when you're locked in at the plate, even the takes look good. You know, when Bobby Abreu took those first 2 pitches, it was very quiet in the batter's box. Not a lot of movement, just very comfortable, tracking the ball better than he had earlier on in the year. And you can always tell when a hitter's feeling good about himself when he takes pitches and there's not a lot of movement. It tells you he's recognizing the ball right out of the pitcher's hand. And you see the numbers, they speak for themselves.
And the pickoff is on. Jeter gets back. I mean, when he was slumping, I think there was a stretch, John. I might be off by a couple of at-bats where he went 70 at-bats without a walk. I mean, that's just not him. He's got such a good eye, and every time you looked up, he was down in the count 0-2. And it wasn't as if they were throwing strikes all the time. He's just swinging and missing the pitches out of the zone.
And what that tells you is he's moving in the box. His head was moving. He's not tracking the ball. He's just not seeing it. I don't care what kind of a hitter you are. If you're moving in the box and your head is moving, you're not going to track the ball that well, and that's why he wasn't taking his walks during that stretch. But you know what? Right now, life is good for Bobby Abreu. All he's thinking about is baseball and putting a good swing on it, and things are working out for him.
And a strike, 2-2. And we mentioned earlier, yesterday, in fact, that a lot of scouts thought he might be done. So everybody's quick to judge, quick to judgment. And there was a rumor in Chicago when the Yankees were there last week. Jermaine Dye for Bobby Abreu, and Kenny Williams, the GM of the White Sox, quickly said, "I would make that trade." I wonder if he'd make that today, because Jermaine Dye continues to struggle. 2-2. Off-speed pitch, and Abreu way out in front. Orlando Hudson is there, and there's 2 outs.
You know, Michael, it's a good point. We talked about it last night. All of a sudden you lose some bat speed and people are quick to judge. You know what? He's lost a little bit. See the good curveball here from Hernandez. Just off the plate inside. It's over the plate a little bit more. Bobby would have done a nice job with it. But, even Mike Mussina, who goes out there, he's throwing 86, 87 miles an hour. Now all of a sudden people are saying he's lost it and, maybe logged too many innings. But usually it's a mechanical thing. And then you get that straightened out. The velocity comes back as well as the bat speed.
Here's A-Rod. And John, it's such an unforgiving game, especially when you're up in years. When you're 26, if you're in a slump, it's a slump. But when you're 34 and you're in a slump, then, well, it's the inevitable decline. So you have to be careful when you pick your big slumps.
And you have to be careful when you get older not to talk yourself into it. Now all of a sudden, you get up there in age and you say, oh, maybe this is the time. And that's the worst thing that can happen. It becomes a mind game.
Count 0-2. Well, there are 2 outs here in the first inning with Jeter at second. And in these situations this year, 2 outs and runners in scoring position. A-Rod's 13 for 31. That's .419. 7 home runs and 26 runs batted in.
Being an ex-catcher, you always look at matchups and say, would this be a good matchup for Alex Rodriguez? You think that it would, because Hernandez doesn't throw that hard. There's a lot of off-speed pitches, and if you're Alex Rodriguez and you're not concerned with the fastball, usually you would do some damage.
Just missed outside. Levon took a step toward the third base dugout.
It looked like a little slider that maybe is just down, maybe off the plate. Great 0-2 pitch. See there, man, it looks like it might catch that front corner. Alex Rodriguez might have caught a break right there. We'll see if he can take advantage of it. The Yankees did a nice job in last night's ball game. And Orlando Hudson made an error. Bobby Abreu made him pay with a 3-run homer.
And A-Rod 6 for 10 lifetime off Hernandez.
And like I said, I think the reason for that is Hernandez just doesn't throw that hard. He probably doesn't pitch in a lot to Alex Rodriguez. And if Alex can just look for the ball out over the plate, not worry about velocity, that's usually when he's going to really, really hurt you.
One of the, worst umpired games I've ever seen involved Livan Hernandez in the NLCS. And Eric Gregg, the late Eric Gregg, was behind the plate, and he was giving Hernandez a foot off the outside corner. It was amazing. I think he had 16 strikeouts in that game, and it was just unfair. It was one of the widest strike zones I'd ever seen. The 2-2. Strike 3. He paints the inside corner, and A-Rod drops the bat and just stares. He cannot believe that Bill Welke called him out. We'll take another look at it. Did it hit the inside corner? Maybe he thought it was low as well. We'll take a closer look when we come back. No runs, a hit, and 1 man left. We go to the second, no score. Alex Rodriguez still ruminating about that called strike 3 as we go to the second inning. There is no score. We'll take another look.
It looks
awfully
like,
low.
It looks down. It looks like it's a front door slider. And, you go back to the 0-2 slider that Hernandez wanted and didn't get. Maybe think it might have been a makeup call right there.
Well, clearly off the plate, and it did look low, so.
Clearly down.
And you don't see A-Rod argue, and he didn't argue vociferously, but he certainly had a talk with Welke. You don't see him argue that long, so he obviously did feel that that was a bad call. So he's saying, yeah, you could see Welke said, yeah, it caught the inside corner. But he's wrong on both counts. It didn't, and it was too low. Livan will take it.
He'll take it, yeah, no doubt.
Count 1-2. This is the one that wasn't called a strike, and that was closer.
It's closer, and like I said, it's a quality 0-2 pitch. You want it to be on the corner or just off. Hernandez wanted it. He didn't get it. Alex caught a break there, and then he didn't get the decision on the next one.
Do you believe in makeup calls? You think they happen?
Oh, I don't think there's any doubt, especially if an umpire is thinking, you know what, that was close, I probably missed that. He'll look for an opportunity, not to make a bad call, but if there's one close, it might go the other way. Bill Welke, respected umpire. I mean, he'll work with you back there.
And the 2-2. Foul back. Mark Reynolds 3 for his last 24. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on the YES Network. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. The Diamondbacks and the Yankees are scoreless. The Yankees have a 7-game winning streak.
Oh, Michael, I know I mentioned it earlier, but really good signs for Mike Mussina. He's getting the fastball down and away on right-handed hitters. That's a big key for him.
That one's driven deep to left field. Backing up Matsui's still back. He's going to play it off the wall. Reynolds hustles into second, and he has himself a leadoff double.
Mike Mussina went with the changeup. The first changeup that he has thrown tonight. You see Will Nieves wants it down, and it's just middle of the plate. Reynolds does a nice job of driving this ball, staying on it. With 2 strikes, you're sitting off speed a little bit anyway, and you get a mistake changeup in the middle of the plate. Mike Mussina fortunate it didn't get out of here. First changeup he's thrown, the arm speed was good, 73 miles an hour. Just location was not great.
Here's Stephen Drew, 5 hits in his last 19 at-bats. And there's a strike. And you look up that fastball, 86. There was an 89-mile-an-hour fastball earlier this inning. Are you thinking that this is it for Mussina, that it is going to be 86, 87, that there's There's not much else there. It's not going to get higher.
Well, we've been talking about it for a while, and it hasn't gotten any better. You know, start to start, you haven't seen an improvement. And, you know, which is fine. You can pitch at 86, 87, 88 miles an hour as long as the location is good and as long as your off-speed pitches are slow enough to make that fastball look a little bit harder. And, you know, the changeup has been a really big pitch for Mike Mussina, especially last year. Throwing his changeup 72 miles an hour and coming back with an 88, 89 mile an hour fastball. There was plenty of difference in speeds there. So you're more concerned probably location. You don't expect the fastball to get much better.
And I guess the only thing that makes that a negative is that any mislocation is unforgiving. So you've got to really hit your spots if you're going to throw 86 miles an hour.
And we talked about it with Alex Rodriguez facing Hernandez. If there's not a fear of a good fastball, or at least the thought of a good fastball, hitters are very comfortable. You know, and you say, you know what, you don't have enough to get it by me. I'm going to look for your off-speed pitches, which, you know, hence makes those pitches not as effective.
The 1-2. Grounded to first. Good piece of hitting by Drew. He moves the runner over to third. Let's check out the Dunkin' Donuts team scouting report on the Arizona Diamondbacks. Find out what makes them tick.
Well, the Diamondbacks are the top of the pack. They're fighting for this NL West division, and they're old school. Michael, you talked about it. They're doing it with pitching and defense. They don't score a lot of runs, so their starting pitching has been outstanding, and the back end of the bullpen has been great. And they're young and innocent. You know, you almost think at this point in June, this young team is probably saying, you know what, we're playing good baseball, but you look to see how they react when you come down to pennant race in August and September and they realize where they actually are. We'll see if they can keep up this pace all year.
Yankees bring the infield in. They're going to try to cut off that run at third base. Here's Chris Young at the plate. Also, a telling part of this team is that 17 of the players on their roster have never played for any team but the Diamondbacks. And the only other team that has more than that, the Minnesota Twins, with 20. And that's also how you keep your payroll down. The 0-1. 0-2. Chris Young is successful in these situations quite a bit. He's 6 for 8 at getting a runner in from third with less than 2 outs.
You know what, Michael, you bring up that point about all these young players. If you're Bob Melvin, the manager of this young team, I mean, it probably could not have gone any better for you the first half of this year. You're developing young players, and you're also in a pennant race. You're at the top of your division. You're also instilling a winning attitude, which is key for the young players.
High fly ball. Left center. Tagging is Reynolds. Making the catch is Damon. He does not have a great arm. Here's the throw. And Reynolds is in there. So a sac fly for Young. He gets it done 7 out of 9 times this year. And the Diamondbacks lead 1-0.
Well, Young does a nice job there, obviously situational hitting. But I was concerned or paying attention here to see if Hideki Matsui coming over here, you know, he's got the better throwing arm. If he was going to call off Johnny Damon to get a stronger throw off, Johnny actually gets off a good throw. It's just not enough. But, you know, you start thinking there with Hideki Matsui throws a little bit better than Johnny Damon. Maybe he should have took a shot at that one.
And you can see Johnny really has to wind up to get the throw in. And, you know, we talked about Nieves catching. And, again, you don't want to get too deep into it, but all of those machinations, that's why Damon's in center and not Melky Cabrera. And Melky Cabrera maybe makes that play closer. Don't know if he gets him, but he makes it closer. He has a better arm. And Montero fouls it back. Count 0-2. Tonight's closed captioning is brought to you by your New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut Lexus dealers. Melky just a spectator tonight.
Montero catching tonight. Chris Snyder caught last night, and Montero they actually feel has some more offensive upside maybe than Snyder.
Mussina thought that was strike 3. And he's barking at Bill Welke.
And this started in the first inning. There were a few pitches Mike Mussina stared in at. This one he thought came back to the inside corner. And you know what? It all goes back to that pitch Hernandez gets. You know, he gets that pitch. Mike Mussina now is saying, you know what? You're going to have a pitcher strike zone. I want the same thing. And he didn't get it right there. If you establish that zone early, it better be the same for both pitchers or there are going to be some problems. And obviously Mike Mussina is not seeing it go his way so far this game.
And the 1-2 upstairs. That's an 87-mile-an-hour fastball. 2-2.
Montero's got a little bit of pop. He's got 4 home runs. 3 of those home runs have been pinch hit home runs this year. Got a strong offensive left-handed swing.
High fly ball, right field. Abreu is there, and he'll put it away for the final out of the inning. But the Diamondbacks manufacture a run, a double, ground ball to the right side, and then a sac fly. 1 run on 1 hit. It's 1-0 Diamondbacks. 4 years ago today, right here at Yankee Stadium, Roger Clemens picked up his 300th victory, and it was against the St. Louis Cardinals. He'd gone 3 previous tries to get his 300th, didn't get it. Miguel Cairo went down on strikes, and Joe Torre took the ball from Clemens, and then Mariano Rivera eventually closed it out, and Cairo, ironically enough, made the final out. And Roger Clemens gets a huge ovation from the crowd as he picked up his 300th victory. He's had 49 since then. And Jorge Posada hits one deep to right. Going back and looking up, it is gone. See ya! Solo home run for Jorge Posada, and the game is tied at 1. That's Posada's 206th home run, and it surpasses Dave Winfield for 9th place on the Yankees all-time home run list.
It's one of those tough decisions if you're Joe Torre and Posada's not catching. You want his bat in there, but you risk losing that designated hitter. See, Roger Clemens liked it off the bat. Derek Jeter as well. It was just a little two-seam fastball that Jorge reached out for. Was able to keep the bat through the zone long enough, just enough to get it out of here.
And the pitch to Matsui is a strike. Clemens was watching, checked it out, and he likes what he sees. Ground ball up the middle by Matsui, a base hit. You know, there was a lot made of the family plan that was given to Clemens. It's in his contract, and this would be a series that he does not have to be here if he doesn't want to be, because he's not starting. And Joe Torre said a lot of people made a big deal out of it. I said, let's see how it plays out. Let's see how it affects people. And Clemens started over the weekend, and he didn't have to be here, but he's here.
Not only is he here, Michael, I mean, he's like one of the first guys out on the field for stretching. I saw him yesterday out in the bullpen when Andy Pettitte was throwing his side session. He was standing at home plate, tracking the pitches to see how he was throwing. And, you know, he's not only here, he's going above and beyond, helping out his teammates, being a great teammate so far.
Those are some of the milestone wins in Clemens' career. We told you this is the 4th anniversary of his 300th win, and his 350th win could be Friday against the Mets. So he's at 349 right now. That's some rarefied air at 350.
I was lucky enough to be on that team with him when he won his 300th game.
Popped up. Stephen Drew is there. And there's one away. They always talk about, gee, after this bunch of players, you know, Glavine and whatever, that no one's going to approach 300. That's debatable. You know, maybe somewhere down the line. I don't think anybody will ever get 350 wins again.
No, I don't think there's any doubt. And you know what? I remember about that stretch when he was going for 300. It became such a big deal to the whole team. You know, everybody was involved in it. You wanted to be a part of it, and you wanted to get him that 300th win. It became just such a big deal. I remember playing long toss with him became stressful, you know, because it was like it was such an event when he would go out there to play catch and get loose. A big relief when he got that 300.
Now, we talked about Eric Burns yesterday being the type of guy that you would hate playing against but probably like as a teammate. Was that the case with Roger? Did you like Roger when he pitched against you?
Well, I was lucky enough to catch him my rookie year in Boston. So we had a relationship, you know, and he was one of the guys that when I faced him in the middle of my career,
I actually thought he was doing me a favor. If there was nobody on base, he would give me a pitch to hit.
Really?
Yeah, and he would throw fastballs away, and I wasn't a good hitter, so it wouldn't guarantee that I would get a hit. But I got a few hits up the middle, never did any damage off them. But if runners got on base, all bets were off. All of a sudden, the nasty split finger came out. So I never had the same experience as maybe a Derek Jeter had, where it was a combative at bat every time they faced each other and then became teammates.
Active players on the win list, 349. Maddox. Maddox at 338. I guess I shouldn't say that to be another 350. He's got another year left on his contract. Maybe there will be. So I misspoke. So maybe after Maddox. John, your numbers against Clemens, 5 for 18, 278 with a double. That's not bad against somebody that people can argue is the best pitcher of all time.
But like I said, in my mind, I know that he took it easy on me. And not that, he wasn't trying to get me out. He would just kind of give me fastballs away and say, see how far you can hit it. He was lucky enough to get some hits.
But when you're sitting on the porch in 40 years, and you've got the grandkid or the great-grandkid on your lap, you're going to tell him you own Clemens.
Oh, that was a hard 278, too. It should have been 350, probably. Hit a couple of balls to the track that just missed. Oh, the legend's going to get bigger and bigger.
It has to.
In all seriousness, I got a ball signed by Roger the day he won his 300th.
Runner goes, pitch is swung and missed, and the throw is in time. So Matsui caught stealing. You score that 2-6.
Take a look at the low jack caught stealing. You see he doesn't get the greatest jump, and he kind of spins his tires over there, so he knew he was in a little bit of trouble. Montero, a decent throw, but great play by Stephen Drew with the pick. And Montero, not known as a good throwing catcher. He's more offensive minded. But nice play by your shortstop right there, picking you up, putting the tag on him. Nice play.
Given to right field, giving chases Quinton. He can't get there. It'll go up against the wall. And Cairo will get to 7. So a 2-out double for Miguel Cairo.
He made a bunch of great plays last night in the field, had a base hit, had some good quality at bats. Again, he follows it up with another opportunity to play. Gets a little fastball in the outside corner and drives it to the right side. Talking to Miguel today, I asked him if he was playing. The lineup wasn't up, and he said, you know what, every day I have to earn it. So if I'm in there, I'm going to be ready to go. And he's done a nice job.
When he plays first base, Cairo is now 9 for 24, 375. And the pitch to Nieves is outside, 1-0.
You're Will Nieves, a backup catcher. You're not going to get that many opportunities during the year to get some big hits. You hope in a situation like this with 2 outs, you come through for your teammates. Backup catcher spot, you're not going to put up a lot of great numbers. You just hope when you get your hits, there are some runners on base, and they're big hits.
Big healthy cut. Got a piece of Montero.
Michael, I've been impressed with Will Nieves. I mean, you look up there, the numbers aren't great, 132 with 4 RBIs, but defensively, he came up at the end of 2005, which was my last year here with the Yankees. Came up in September, and he was not a very good thrower of the baseball to second base. I think Tony Pena really deserves some credit. I mean, he gets a lot of credit for what Jorge Posada has done, but Will Nieves has really turned into a good throwing backup catcher. Pitchers like throwing to him. The batting average doesn't jump out at you, but he's helping out this team in different ways.
And Nieves, remember, got off to a terrible start offensively, and in his last 16 at-bats, he has 5 hits. So he hasn't been an automatic out. He's actually had a couple of hits taken away with good defensive plays. I'm not saying that he's a 300 hitter, but you could see him hitting 230. I mean, I don't think that's a stretch.
And the way he catches and throws, I mean, that's a valuable commodity for your ball club.
And he walks. So first and second, 2 outs, back to the top of the lineup, and Johnny Damon. And there's a strike. Game is tied at 1. A run for the Diamondbacks on a sac fly in the second. A leadoff home run by Posada here in the bottom of the inning. And the Yankees threatening for more, first and second with 2 outs. The 0-1. High fly ball right field. Carlos Quinton. Wynn gets a hold of it. And that'll do it here in the second. But the Yankees tie the score. 1 run on 3 hits and 2 men left. But the one swing that tied the score, first pitch of the inning, and Jorge Posada goes and gets it. His 8th home run of the year. It's a 1-1 game. Let's take a look at the JNR Music and Computer World upcoming schedule. One more game against the Diamondbacks. It starts tomorrow at 1, so our batting practice show comes on at noon. Pregame at 12:30. Friday, the Mets come into town. Well, really across the river. My 9, 7 o'clock. Saturday is a yes game. 12 o'clock is the batting practice show. 12:30 pregame and 1 o'clock game time. And then Sunday night we turn it over to ESPN. Carlos Quinton pops it up and out of play. 1-4-0 Yanks. 1-2-0 for the Diamondbacks.
The matchup of Stanford Cardinals right here, Michael.
Really?
Yeah. Quinton was a first-round pick out of Stanford. Mike Mussina, a Stanford alumni.
And Mike graduated in 3 years. I don't know if you realize that.
And he'll let you know about that, too. We're very proud of the fact that he graduated early.
And he didn't skate through on, like, you know, physical education. I think he had an economics degree.
Is that what it was?
I believe it is. Strike 3. See, we just had to work the corners there because of Stanford.
Whatever it takes to get the job done, Michael. It's just a good fastball in the outside corner, and I talked about it early. Usually that's a really good sign for Mike Mussina. All of his other pitches kind of fall into place after that. And take a look at the Bacardi scouting report on Eric Burns. And energy to burn. This guy plays hard every day, and his teammates feed off of that. Mr. Versatility. He's hitting leadoff tonight. He batted cleanup last night. And a lot of offensive responsibility. He leads his ball club in home runs with 9 and stolen bases with 12.
And also hits with 81, which is second in the National League. Pops it up to Cano. The wind is starting to affect those high fly balls as he had to run in to get that one 2 away.
But it tells you a lot about this Diamondback lineup when Bob Melvin has your cleanup hitter hitting cleanup last night, and now he's leading off tonight. You see Robinson Cano fighting that wind. Pay attention to that later in the ball game. But you know, your cleanup guy is now hitting lead off for you tonight. He's trying to find that formula for success, which the Yankees have done now that they have some stability with their lineup.
But it does tell you that a lot of people in the lineup are interchangeable. There's not that big bopper that you say, okay, he's going to bat 3rd or 4th. If your cleanup guy can bat lead off the next day, that does tell you something about the type of hitters you have. Here's Connor Jackson. And there's a strike.
Connor Jackson DHing tonight, but usually during the National League games he plays a little bit of first base, and the Diamondbacks are committed to him playing first base. We saw Tony Clark last night played first base, so he's got some more power. That's actually an interesting dilemma for Bob Melvin, you know, to get a guy like Tony Clark in there who can hit the ball out of the ballpark. You see the first pitch strikes from Mike Mussina. There's Tony. The Diamondbacks are committed to this young kid, Connor Jackson, to play first base. He's going to get most of the time.
And the reason that you don't have Tony Clark in the lineup tonight, he really is abysmal against Mike Mussina. 2 for 35. But one of the 2 is a home run. That's the second lowest average for any batter pitcher matchup among active players. The other one is Brad Ausmus, is 2 for 40 against Tom Glavine. Ausmus the catcher for the Astros, and Glavine obviously with the Mets.
Was traded for Brad Ausmus, and he's still playing. That's incredible.
You could still be playing. You're very young. You're in great shape.
I could still be playing and probably wouldn't be playing very well, but Ausmus is a great receiver. Nice job in Houston.
Tim Wakefield drove you from the game. That's it.
There were some other factors. Tim Wakefield was the final straw.
Gotcha. He snapped it back.
Yeah. Trying to catch him for one inning, said, you know what, it's been a good run. Time to go.
The 3-2. Strike three. Connor Jackson down looking. Second strikeout of the inning for Mike Mussina. Both of them looking. So Mussina with the breaking ball. Strike three. 3 up, 3 down for the Diamondbacks. We go to the bottom of the third. One of the biggest home runs in postseason history. Game 1 of the 1988 World Series. Dodgers-A's. Eckersley on the mound, and he got a slider up in the zone. Kirk Gibson, who could hardly walk, hits the game winner, and the A's never recovered. One of the classic home run trots as well, with that fist pump, and no one knew he could hit. He had a couple of swings left in him, and that was probably the only ball that he could hit, John.
And you know, it's funny, we talked about advanced scouts last night at the advanced reports of Kirk Gibson, the bench coach, and he was told by the advanced scout, if you got the 3-2, Eckersley would throw you a backdoor slider, and you can see he kind of leaned out there and hooked it. So an advanced scout coming through with a big win in the World Series right there.
And the strange thing is, again, his knees were so bad, and there's Joe Garagiola. Was he calling that game? Scully and Garagiola called that game. Joe's son was an original GM with the Diamondbacks. But his legs were so bad that he couldn't get around on a fastball. He couldn't do anything with it. But he got that backdoor slider and crushed it. The thing I remember about that night, John, I was covering the game for the Post. And, you know, the Dodger Stadium crowd, they leave early. So all those red lights in the parking lot there. And then when he hits the home run, they're obviously listening on the radio. They stop their cars if they're going to get back in the stadium in time. Everybody hit the brake lights, but the ball was gone and the game was over. And Jeter works a walk to start up the third. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay, and you're watching Yankees baseball right here on the Yes Network. Yankees and the Diamondbacks are tied at 1, the middle game of a 3-game set. Yankees won last night 4-1. Yankees carry a 7-game winning streak into this contest. Here's Bobby Abreu. They got him on a slow curveball in the first inning. He popped it up to the second baseman, Orlando Hudson. And there's a strike.
Hernandez does it a lot of different ways. There, a little quick slide step, kind of caught Bobby Abreu off guard. Quick pitched him a little bit, hit the outside corner. When you don't throw hard, you got to change it up a little bit. You got to throw the ball up, you got to go down, you got to change speeds. A lot of different ways to do it, and Livan Hernandez is a pro at it.
That guile, that ability to make something out of nothing, it must run in the family, because El Duque was like that and is like that. They don't have overpowering stuff, but they outsmart the batter.
And you can tell there's a presence about these guys too. You know, the way they handle themselves on the mound. They're never going to get flustered. When they get in trouble, they just make quality pitch after quality pitch.
Now, we told you about how many innings that he can give a team. Since he came up in '97, 6.82 innings per start. Only 3 pitchers average more innings per start, and all 3 of them are brand name pitchers. Kurt Schilling, 7.18. Randy Johnson, 7.02. And Pedro Martinez, 6.89. And there's Livan Hernandez, 4th. That's since '97.
And they're all power pitchers. I mean, they go out there, they're 100% max effort guys. Hernandez is more of a guy who pitches at 75%. Later on in the ball game, if he needs a good fastball, he can step it up a little bit. But we talked about change speeds, hit your corners, work it in and out, up and down. At the end of the day, you're usually pretty effective.
2-1. Check swing, and off the glove of Livan. He still gets the out at second. Pretty heads-up play by Livan Hernandez for the first out of the inning. Never panicked. Still wanted to get that lead runner, and he did.
Once the game speeds up, you never see a veteran like this panic, Michael. You know, it looks like he was a little nonchalant right there, but regroups, makes a nice strong throw, gets Derek Jeter in plenty of time. But, you know, these are the little things. You know, you have an opportunity maybe for a double play, and you only end up getting one out, and the Yankees have been making their opponents pay when they make the little mistakes like this lately.
Here's A-Rod. He struck out looking, a disputed call in the first inning with a runner on second. Drill deep to left field. There it goes. See ya! Off the facing of the upper deck in left field. A monster two-run home run for Alex Rodriguez. And the Yankees lead 3-1. That is some rarefied real estate up there.
Well, the 25th home run of the year for Alex Rodriguez, and after a potential double play ball, first pitch, little slider, middle of the plate, and you called it, Michael. This thing is a bomb right here. Off the facing in the upper deck.
You just don't go up there.
Wow.
His 489th career home run. There's a strike to Posada. Check this out. He did not hit his 25th home run last year until August 13th. And he now has 65 runs batted in. And he never saw it hit the upper deck, because he has this thing now that he looks into the Yankee dugout when he swings.
Well, when you hit it this good, I mean, there's no doubt about it. You take a little glance in the dugout and you enjoy it. Enjoy the nice jog around the bases. But, well, I can only remember one other ball that I've seen go up there. Jason Varitek put one up there one day, remember?
The one I remember, John, is many, many years ago, Cecil Fielder, I think, hit his 50th home run of the year into the upper deck in left field when he was with the Tigers. And the reason why that is such a monstrous home run, it obviously is deeper than right, and the upper deck is more reset from the lower deck than it is in right field. It's just a shot. I don't know if they'll give us a guesstimation on how long that is, but that's a blast. Popped up. Reynolds near the seats, and he runs out of room.
You know what? This is what the Yankees have been doing. Last night's ball game, Orlando Hudson makes an error on a Johnny Damon ground ball. The next thing you know, Bobby Abreu hits a 3-run homer off of Webb right there. You see last night's starter. In this inning right here, Hernandez had a chance for a double play ball, and he didn't take advantage of it. And first pitch, Alex Rodriguez, he makes him pay and hits a 2-run homer. Now, it might have just been a solo shot, but still another run on the board just because of a missed opportunity from an opponent.
That must be some feeling to be that locked in. And Posada walks. You give up a home run like that, you suddenly get a little plate shy.
Well, you might, you know what, if you're going to give them up, you might as well give them up, and then they all count the same. But the bottom line is Hernandez doesn't have the type of stuff that he can live in the middle of the plate. And he just realized he made a bad pitch. You know what? But we talked about it. He's not going to get all unwrapped out there out on the mound. He's just going to pitch his game, try and make quality pitches, and see if he can keep his ball club in the ball game. Unfortunately for him, his offense is not known for scoring runs.
So he walked to Posada. Here is Matsui. He singled in the second inning. Yesterday, his 33rd birthday. He looks down at Larry Bowa, see if anything is on. Is there a guy on every team, John, that, I mean, the players know there's no chance he's seeing the sign. There's no chance he's getting away.
Yeah, there are a few of them on every team. But you know what, to tell you the truth, on this team, really, you know, you're going to hit and run with a few guys. You're going to bunt with even fewer amount of guys. So there really aren't a whole lot of signs that you have to know. It's more a situation like this, you know, a 3-0 count. Is Hideki Matsui going to get the green light, or does Joe Torre want him to take one? Those are the signs these guys really have to pay attention to.
Are they as complicated as they look?
Oh, I've had some third base coaches who make them very, very complicated. And I've had some other coaches who says, you know what, I don't want to fool anybody. I don't care if the other team knows. We just got to execute.
Taking all the way.
The signs could be anything. I mean, you can see Larry Boa, you know, going with his right hand, his left hand. It could be the amount of touches that he does up the right side of his body or left side. I mean, they're just all different combinations down there.
There's a strike, but you never missed a sign, right?
I have missed a sign.
Really?
Yes.
I can't believe that. I don't want to believe it.
Well, I have to be honest with you, Michael. It did happen.
Was it here or in Tampa Bay?
No, it wasn't here. I didn't miss a sign here. Joe Torre took off a bunt with an 0-2 count.
Right.
He took it off, and I elected to bunt on my own. And fortunately enough for me, I got it down.
Runner goes. Pitch is outside, so a walk to Matsui. Tomorrow's starting pitchers brought to you by Verizon Fios. Make the switch to Verizon Fios TV, internet, phone. Doug Davis is going to go for the Diamondbacks, 4-7, but a good ERA of 3.48. Andy Pettit, he's pitched in hard luck all year, 3-4, despite a good ERA of 3.11. So two guys with good ERAs and losing records. It's a 1 o'clock start, so the batting practice show is at noon and the pregame at 12:30. First pitch will be right around 1:07. There's Andy. Here's Robinson Cano. High fly ball, right center. Giving chase is Quinton. He dives, can't make the play. Kind of lunges. And both runners move up. Posada had a hold up. So the bases are loaded on the single by Cano.
Well, Robinson Cano gets a changeup, and you're going to see right here, he doesn't hit it all that well. He kind of runs out of bat, hits it off the end of the bat, but just perfect placement. And the one thing that comes into play here, we noticed when Robinson Cano was trying to catch a pop-up, the wind was blowing it in. You can see this ball just falls right between the outfielders, so I'm sure the wind had something to do with that. Jorge Posada had to make sure that ball was either caught and he was going to tag up or hit some turf, which it did.
Brian Price, the pitching coach, comes out and talks with Livan Hernandez. You might remember Price. He was Lou Pinella's pitching coach in Seattle for a while, and also Bob Melvin's in Seattle. And now he joins Melvin here in Arizona.
I always thought that was a tough job, being a pitching coach for Lou Piniella. He gives the pitching coaches a hard time.
What do you think's worse, pitching coach or catcher for Piniella?
Catcher. Talking to Dan Wilson all those years, boy, he said, you know what, Lou Piniella gives the catcher an awful lot of responsibility when things are going good and when they're going bad. You have to answer to your manager. Lou was tough on the catchers.
Miguel Cairo has a hit already today, but a .224 lifetime average, bases loaded, with 1 grand slam. This breaking ball whispers across the outside corner, 0-1. I once spoke to Toby Hall about it, and he almost got emotional talking about how tough it is to catch for Lou Piniella. Toby now backup catcher with the White Sox, but caught for Lou in Tampa Bay. Popped up right side. Chad Tracy and Montero, they both run out of room. And Lou got that from Billy Martin because it was very tough to catch for Billy Martin.
Toby Hall was a young catcher coming up with Tampa when I was an older catcher on my way out there, and we had the same conversation. You know, he said it's one of those things, if you put down a pitch and you think it's the right pitch and it doesn't work out, you're going to get screamed at because of why did you call that pitch. And you know what, for a young catcher, I wouldn't be able to function. You'd be second guessing every pitch you put down there, just hoping that it worked out.
You know, I had a great relationship. I mean, a great relationship with Billy Martin. I mean, he helped me in my career. He was unbelievable. But he used to get on catchers all the time. And one time I said, well, if you hate to have the catchers call the game, why don't you call it from the bench? And he goes, what? I said, well, why don't you call the pitchers from the bench? He goes, well, that's their job. Get out of here. So I left the room. But I thought that would be a good way to solve the second guessing. But then if you did that, there'd be no second guessing. The 0-2. Right off the fist, popped up the shallow left, and Drew is there for the second out. The bases remain loaded.
As good as Miguel Cairo has been going, you expected him to do something right there. Just a fastball runs in on his hands, and you get behind 0-2. You become more defensive at the plate and not as aggressive. Hernandez made a good pitch on him right there.
Yankees would like to give Messina some breathing room. Another base hit would widen the lead. It's 3-1 right now. Here's Will Nieves. He walked his first time up. And the pitch upstairs, 1-0.
We talked about it with Will's first at bat. You know you're not going to get too many hits. You just want to make sure that the ones that you get are big hits. This will be a nice opportunity for him. A big 2-out bases loaded hit. A lot of pitches for Hernandez.
Deep drive, left center field, giving chases Burns. He's there, and he makes the play. The wind held that one up as well for the final out of the third. But the Yankees get 2 runs on 2 hits. They leave the bases loaded. The 2 runs came on 1 swing. Alex Rodriguez hit the facing of the left field upper deck for his 25th home run of the year and a 3-1 Yankee lead. Time for the Aflac trivia question here in the top of the 4th inning. And Orlando Hudson is one of 2 second basemen to win a Gold Glove in both leagues. Who is the other? How perfect is it? The Aflac question, and then Hudson leads off, is like Kevin Smolin, our producer, has a crystal ball. Pitch to Hudson, upstairs, 1-0. I mean, how did he know in the 4th inning, John, that Orlando Hudson was going to lead off?
There are just some things that you can't teach. You know, it's like, you know, a baseball player has instincts. You know, Kevin just has the right instincts for this job.
And in basketball, you can't teach height. You can't teach instinct. Here. It could be also that they have 9 questions involving, you know, all 9 batters, but I choose not to believe that. The 1-1. Right back to Messina's 6 Gold Gloves. Flashes it there, 1 away.
A nice easy comebacker for the Gold Glover, and we talked about it in our scouting report. The Yankee defense has played very well behind Mike Mussina when he's been in there starting, and nice easy play for Moose right there. 45 pitches, 32 strikes, good strike to ball ratio. Now Mike has not won any of his last 5 starts, and his longest stretch without a win has been 6 starts in his career. And something he also hasn't done in his last 11 starts is he has not thrown 100 pitches. Now last time out he threw 79, got lifted, 1st and 3rd, nobody out. He was a little bit chapped and didn't hold back in the post-game interviews, but he and Joe Torre have spoken about it since then. And what Joe Torre explained to him was it wasn't a lack of faith in you, it was a strategic move where I felt that it was the time to bring in the left-hander Mike Myers. So I think that made Mussina feel a little bit better. See a good curveball right there. Nice action down and in. It's good late action for Mike Mussina right there with the curveball. Something that we hadn't seen early on. He's got a little bit more life on his pitches now. You know what, getting back to that, Michael, I think Mike is one of those guys. He got himself in trouble. He has more confidence in himself getting out of that jam. He put himself in there. He wanted to work his way out of there. And you know what, Joe Torre had different ideas, but at the end of the day, they're both on the same page now.
Right back to Mussina again. And I also think, John, that if Mussina was at 99 pitches, he probably would have agreed with the move, but he felt that 79, he still had enough stuff to get out of it himself.
Third baseman,
You know what? There's a lot of information on that bench with Don Mattingly, the bench coach, Ron Guidry, the pitching coach. You know, all the matchup informations and things like that. And you know, Joe was very honest with me yesterday. He said the numbers were really good for Myers against Brzezinski, and then of course it doesn't work out, so it becomes more of an issue. But you know what? If you're the manager of the team, you have the information over there, and you digest it, and you make your decision. If you're a player, you live with it.
Reynolds fouls one off of Nieves. And a great catch by a guy over the Yankee dugout. Boy, did that ricochet off of Nieves to go that far on a fly. Messina dealing right now, working quickly, effectively, efficiently. He's up 0-2.
And again, it's another curveball. It stays up a little bit, but I think you said it perfectly, Michael. You know, he's working quickly. Will Nieves and Mike Messina just have a good rhythm going right now. I'll try to ride that out. A couple of ways to go. I see a fastball up. Maybe to set up a curveball the next pitch.
Doesn't have to have the next pitch. Reynolds swings and misses, and Messina has retired 9 in a row after the Reynolds double in the second inning. So the Diamondbacks go down in order, and we go to the bottom of the fourth inning. It's 3-1 Yanks. Time for the answer to the Aflac trivia question. Orlando Hudson is one of 2 second basemen to win a Gold Glove in both leagues. Who is the other? And the answer is Brett Boone. With the Reds and with the Mariners a couple times. Johnny Damon will lead off against Livan Hernandez. And there's a strike count 0-1. That's the way to see a game. Own little cocoon. You got some toys if you get bored. I like the broadcast in that contraption. Swung on a miss. Boy, was that a slow pitch. 62 miles an hour. 0-2.
Well, if you don't throw hard anymore, you just go slower than slow. See, Johnny Damon is fooled on the swing, 62 miles, or on the speed, 62 miles an hour, way out in front.
Slapped the other way, giving chases Burns into the corner. And they say it was a fair ball, one away. Take a look at the Cannon power shot replay.
You know what? Eric Burns is not going to be one of those guys who's intimidated by the wall. He's going to go full force in order to catch anything out there. We've seen him crash into walls, crash into players, whatever it takes to get the job done. You can see the wind is playing a little havoc out there. Makes every fly ball interesting.
Here's Derek Jeter. And the pitch outside, 1-0.
If you're the Yankees, you want to keep piling up those good at-bats and keep working that pitch count up for Hernandez. You know, the weakness, like a lot of teams for this Arizona Diamondback team, is the middle of that bullpen. Try and stay away from the big three. Tony Pena in the 7th, Brandon Lyon in the 8th, and their closer Valverde, who's had an excellent year, 21 saves. So if you can get to some of those other guys down there, you take your chances.
Wind really whipping straight in here at the stadium. I'm thinking about the A-Rod blast, John, and one of the parts of the mysticism of Yankee Stadium is that no player has ever hit a ball out of this ballpark, even before it was refurbished during the 74-75 seasons. Not since this time either. And you wonder, players are bigger and stronger, and the balls are supposedly wound tighter, and there's only a year and a half left in this old ballpark. Do you think anybody could ever do it?
No, there's no way. I don't see any way. I mean, you know,
Mantle went up here, but it didn't get out. That was when the facade was up there in the old days. Grounded at third. Reynolds. 2 away.
And you know why I say no way? Because, you know, you see batting practice every day here. And you don't see balls that go up there where Mickey Mantle hit his. This was a shot from Alex Rodriguez. It gets all the way back there, one of those back fences. Over that back fence. I mean, that's a bomb right there, and that's not even close to going out of here. So, you know, just when you see batting practice every day, you see how far these guys hit the ball, and there was never one where you said, wow, that's got a chance. I'd never see it happen.
Now, looking around in the outfield, what would be the most likely spot? Would it be over the lights in right field?
I think there's no doubt. You know, in batting practice, you'll see a lot of balls go into the middle of that upper deck, right up right in here. So, you know, you're thinking maybe down the line if you can get one up over those lights. But like I said, I think the furthest one I saw on BP was in middle with that upper deck. Still got a long way to go after that.
Isn't it strange, though, that Mantle was able to almost get it out, and people are stronger now? And pitchers kind of throw harder consistently, and the ball is harder, and no one has ever come close since then.
You know, if you can be stronger than Mickey Mantle, I mean, some of the legends about how far he hit these home runs and their legendary shots. Naturally strong.
And for those younger fans, the original stadium where the lights are right now, the facade, which is in the outfield, used to be above the stands, and I think that the new stadium is going to have that feature. So where you see lights there, you would actually see that facade, which is over the ads in the outfield, that would be over the stands. Base it up the middle for Abreu, and Mantle with one swing hit the top of the facade, and that's the closest anyone ever came to getting it out of the ballpark. So that's a 12-game hitting streak for Abreu, and that'll bring up Alex Rodriguez. And there's the original facade. Not the original facade, but that's how the original facade was made of copper. "25 home runs in 63 games. Last year it took him 114 games to get number 25. So he's at 489 lifetime. Abreu goes, pitches outside, throw to second, is cut off by Hernandez for some reason. Very, very odd. Why would he do that, John?
This is one of those plays, Michael. I mean, Bobby Abreu gets such a good jump, and it's a young catcher. He's trying to do too much right here. He throws from his knees. You know what the best way to get sent down to AAA is to hurt your pitcher on a throw if you're a young catcher. That's just something you don't want to do. Goes from his knees and just yanks it. And you know what? Hernandez, luckily for him, was faced up with the catcher Montero. A lot of pitchers would go down to a knee and would get hit in the back with that throw. It's a young catcher trying to do a little bit too much right there.
Count 2-0 on A-Rod. You wonder about the advisability of stealing there, because you kind of take the bat out of A-Rod's hand with first base open. Let's see if Hernandez does go after him. Grounder left side. He does go after him. It's a base hit. Grounding third is Abreu. Here he comes. Here's the throw by Burns. Abreu's in there. A-Rod goes to second on the throw. It's an RBI single for Alex Rodriguez, and the Yankees now lead 4-1.
Well, Hernandez did challenge him, and Alex Rodriguez gets a base hit through the hole right here. But Bobby Abreu gets a nice jump off of second base, and I like the aggressiveness of Larry Boa. Eric Burns is known as a very good thrower of the baseball from the outfield. This ball just a little bit up the line, not a play at home plate, and Alex Rodriguez, who was going to second the whole way to make sure that he was going to get this run scored. A nice aggressive baseball by Larry Boa, challenging the arm of Eric Burns. You see, he actually had to go back. He gets a good jump off the crack of the bat. See Larry egging him on right there to get going. But Burns, you know, he's got a good throwing arm right there. That was a nice challenge.
And Posada takes a pitch inside. 1-0. So A-Rod now with 66 ribbies, and he's hitting .424 with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. The run scored by Abreu, the 1,000th of his career, so a milestone for Bobby. And the count 2-0.
You see Alex Rodriguez. He's busting it out of the box right away. And the one thing that he wants to do is make sure he goes to second base. Even if you cut off the throw, you're going to guarantee that that run scores. So nice hitting, nice base running from Alex Rodriguez.
Count 3-0. Well, you have to wonder, what is A-Rod's RBI total going to be at the All-Star break? Another month to go. He might have 80-something RBIs.
You know, it's amazing. And if he could have kept that pace, you know, he got off to such a hot start in April, and May wasn't his best month. See the strike on a 3-0 count. But, you know, as a hitter, you just can't keep that going all year long. You know you're going to go through some tough stretches. Bobby Abreu knows that better than anybody. But the ability to rebound now and find your stroke again, you just try and ride it out as long as you can because he's locked in right now. But you know it's not going to last. You know, you just can't keep that pace up.
Three-1 to Posada. Strike, 3-2. You know, John, they talk about how the Yankees have changed during this hot stretch. And one thing that has really jumped out at me, and you played here for a while, Joe Torre is not sitting during the times when the Yankees are at bat. He's standing on that bottom step of the dugout along with Mattingly. And since 1996, he used to sit on the bench and not move. And now he's up every offensive possession.
You know what, he changed things in Toronto, the no batting practice, the infield practice, so he changed his position in the dugout. And the one thing I worry about, well, Joe Torre has a bad knee that blows up on him occasionally during the season. So I wonder if the standing there that whole time is going to take its toll on him.
Here's Matsui. The Yankee offense that struggled so mightily in May has now scored at least 4 runs in 13 consecutive games. And the way their pitching has been, that's going to get you wins. 85 pitches for Hernandez. In the bottom of the 4th, the 0-1. Along with John Flaherty, I'm Michael Kay. You're watching Yankees baseball right here on Yes. We thank you for joining us on this Wednesday evening. Bottom of the 4th inning. Yankees 4-1 over Arizona. Edgar Gonzalez warming in the bullpen for the Diamondbacks. And the 1-1. Strike, 1-2.
You know, Michael, if you're Kevin Long, the hitting instructor for the Yankees, this is what you've been waiting for. I mean, you look up at the lineup now. Johnny Damon, there's Kevin, the hitting instructor. Johnny Damon swinging the bat better since he's gone to the DH role. Derek Jeter has been locked in for a while. Bobby Abreu now is hot. Alex is hot. Posada swinging good. Matsui swinging good. Cano. I mean, you've got all your ducks in a row right now. This is a tough lineup to maneuver your way through.
Drill deep to right field. Going back Quinton. Track. Wall. See ya. A long home run into the bleachers for Hideki Matsui. A 3-run shot. And the Yankees lead 7-1.
Well, you just talked about how this lineup, you got everybody firing on all cylinders. And, you know, Bobby Abreu gets an innocent hit with 2 outs to extend his hitting streak. Next thing you know, Alex Rodriguez drives him in. Posada walks, and then Hideki Matsui hits a 3-run homer. So you got batters in your lineup now who are feeding off of each other. Hideki just gets a fastball up, and we talked about it. Hernandez just does not have enough velocity to make pitches like that up in the zone. Yankees ahead 7-1.
And the pitch to Cano is high.
That's why this lineup can be so tough. You get 2 quick outs, and next thing you know, a base hit by Abreu that you don't think too much about, and the next thing you know, the Yankees put up 4 runs.
Big healthy cut, 1-1. Well, you look at the ERAs, and even with the Pirates, Gorzolani had a good ERA, and yesterday Brandon Webb came in with a 3.13, gave up 4 runs in 7 innings, and Livan Hernandez 3.66. He's given up 7 runs in 3 2/3. Those threes in the National League are definitely fours here in the American League. These are different lineups, just a completely different game. I think sometimes they take the pitchers by surprise, and I think that's one of the big reasons why the National League fares so poorly in interleague play. They're just not used to these deep lineups.
Not only good hitters in this league, but good hitters with power. And, you know, it's one of those things that you have to pay attention to with the Roger Clemens, you know, coming back to the American League. You would assume that his ERA isn't going to be as low as it was in the National League.
Blooper into shallow right, coming on is Quinton, and he makes the play for the final out of the inning. But not before the Yankees score 4 runs on 4 hits. Alex Rodriguez with an RBI single through the left side. That was 1 run. And then Hideki Matsui with a 3-run home run into the bleachers. That made it 4. 7-1 Yankees as we go to the 5th.
Nancy Newman in our Yes Studios with this Nissan update. Interleague play at Fenway. Rockies, Red Sox, top 2 to zip for the Rockies. That's Matt Holliday tapping one on the left side. Mike Lowell, the barehanded play, but the throw gets away from Kevin Youkilis. 1 run would score. 3-zip Rockies at that point. Lowell has since homered. It's 3-2 top 5.
Thank you, Nancy. Here at Yankee Stadium, it's also top of the 5th inning with the Yankees lead 7-1. So Mike Messina has an opportunity to pick up a victory. And he deals to Stephen Drew, pitches high, 1-0. The Corona Extra scoreboard shows 7 runs on 9 hits for the Yankees and 1-2-0 for the Diamondbacks. Grounded foul. Messina's retired 9 in a row since Reynolds led off the 2nd inning with a double. He's given up 2 doubles today, 1 to Orlando Hudson and 1 to Reynolds. And that's the only blemish on Messina. In the 2nd inning, Diamondbacks scored the run. Reynolds doubled, grounded to the right side, moved in the 3rd, sac fly to center, scored Reynolds. That's it. But the Yankee offense has not kept Messina hanging. They scored a run in the 2nd on the Posada home run. Then they scored 2 in the 3rd on a long home run by A-Rod against the facing the upper deck and left. And then in the 4th inning, RBI single by A-Rod and a 3-run home run by Matsui. Line drive, base hit, down the right field line, up against the tarp. Drew's going to round first. Coming up throwing is Abreu, and he holds Drew to a single. A good bounce played beautifully by Abreu.
Exactly right, Michael. You see the pitch right here is a little cutter on the inside corner, and Drew pulls it down the line. You're going to watch this bounce right there. It bounces right to Bobby Abreu. He does a nice spin. It gets off a good, strong throw to hold Drew to just a single. The one thing, if you're Mike Mussina here, you got to pitch your game just like this is a 1-run game. You don't want to look at it like, all right, I have 6 runs. I'm just going to start laying some balls in there. Pitch your game. Pitch to the game plan that you had before the game. Stick with it and keep grinding it out.
And the pitch to Chris Young is a strike. So that single by Drew snapped a 9-in-a-row streak by Mussina. Good breaking ball, count 0-2. Diamondbacks have not fared well in interleague play. They've dropped 19 of their last 26. Overall, they are 66-80. Yankees have always dominated in interleague play. The 0-2. Lined right at Jeter. Can he double him up? Throw to first. Got him. What was Drew thinking? That play was hit right in front of him. Should have never wandered that far off the bag.
Bob Melvin, manager of the Arizona Diamondbacks. These are the things that you have to address right when they happen. I mean, it is a routine line drive to Derek Jeter. And everybody knows you freeze on a liner, and Drew just got caught in no man's land and couldn't get back in time. But these are the things that Bob Melvin is going to have to deal with. It's such a young ball club. They're going to make mistakes. You want to make sure when they make them, you take care of them right away. You see right here, his first instinct is to turn to second base, and he turns his body. Has a tough time turning back around, and he gets doubled off.
How do you explain that, though, John? It wasn't even a tough play for Jeter. It was hit right at him.
You know, it's just a reaction, Michael. You're on first base, and you're thinking about getting a good jump off the bat. And once he turned his body towards second base, he was in trouble. It's almost like you have to do a little shuffle side to side to be able to turn back to the bag a little bit quicker. And once he turned his body, he knew he was in trouble.
Now, do managers address that right away?
You can see how he's facing second base. Now he has to turn all the way back around. And, you know, that would be a situation I think a manager would address it right away. And, you know, you might give it an inning or two when he goes out and plays defense and then comes back and talk to him.
Now, do you say you did the wrong thing, or do you ask him, what do you think?
I think you're asking, what do you think? I mean, he knows he made a mistake right there. I mean, this is a good young ball player. He knows he messed up. And you know, if you're the manager, you just have to make sure he doesn't do it again. You eliminate the mistakes. Once they happen, you get rid of them and make sure they don't happen again.
Joe Torre always tells the story in '96 when Jeter was the rookie shortstop for the Yankees. He was on second base with nobody out. He tried to steal third and got thrown out for the first out, which you don't make the first or third out of third. And rather than avoiding Torre, he went back to the bench and sat right next to him. And Joe said, get out of here, because he knew he had made a mistake, but he wanted to go next to Joe Torre to take his punishment. The 1-2. Strike three, inside corner. Montero down looking. Another strong inning for Mike Messina. And Montero having words with the home plate umpire, Bill Welke. Nice play by Jeter for the double play. Bad base running by Drew. We're halfway through. 7-1 Yanks. Yankees Baseball on Yes is brought to you in part by the all-new 2007 Lincoln MKX and your Tri-State Lincoln Mercury dealers. And by IO Digital Cable, the leader in HD, and HD is free with IO. Well, the Yankees looking for their 8th straight win. They're leading 7-1 as we go to the bottom of the 5th inning on the Corona Extra scoreboard. 7-9-0 Yanks, 1-3-0 for the Diamondbacks. And a new pitcher for the Diamondbacks. It's Edgar Gonzalez taking over for Livan Hernandez. And boy, for a guy who came in with a 3.66 ERA, the Yankees really roughed them up, John.
Well, the Yankees, one of those teams, and you see the numbers here for Gonzalez. The ERA just over 5 with 36 strikeouts in the 42 innings. And you know, this guy's got a good fastball, changeup, slider, and he's got great command, can throw a lot of strikes. But you know what, the Yankees lineup, Michael, they're locked in right now. They're not going to swing at a lot of bad pitches, and that's what Livan Hernandez does. He gets hitters to expand their strike zone, swing at balls off the plate. The Yankees just did not do that tonight.
There's Cairo against Gonzalez, and there's a strike. You can hear the wind against our microphones. The wind really whipping in strong, and the outfield, the American flag flapping straight in toward home plate. Grounder to short. Stephen Drew gets a nice hop, and there's one away. Samsung's 4 Seasons of Hope and Joe Torre have teamed up to make a difference in the community. For every Yankees home run hit at home this year, Samsung will donate $1,000 to Joe Torre's Safe at Home Foundation to help end the cycle of domestic violence. You can join the team and support Samsung's Home Run for Kids by visiting fourseasonsofhope.com or joetorre.org, because a little hope can make a big difference. Here's Will Nieves. Well, it doesn't feel like June 13th, does it, John?
What happened? I mean, yesterday it was humid here in New York, and all of a sudden it's cold tonight.
It has an October feel to it, almost like a fall classic feel. People are bundled up here in June. Got the hoodies on, sweatshirts, windbreakers. Nieves fouls it away.
thought I saw it's supposed to warm up on the weekend. We get a little warm up in the 80s again.
Having a hard time opening the Cracker Jacks. Squib the other way. Fielded there by Hudson. And there's 2 away. Hey, when you get a chance, please stop by and visit our friends at J&R Music and Computer World. There's Johnny Damon. He is 0 for 3 tonight. And the count 1-0. There had been some conjecture that Johnny Damon might be playing some first base when the Yankees go to the National League cities next week, Colorado and San Francisco. Not a sure thing, because they could have gotten him in the lineup today playing first base if they wanted to go that route. But they decided to put him into center. So you wonder how much he's going to play in the National League and how much milk he's going to play. Fouled away.
I'm going to be very interested to watch that, Michael. You know, to actually see him out there in the footwork. I mean, it's one of those things. Remember, Mike Piazza went to first base. They thought that was going to be an easy transition. It didn't work out for him. I think it's a lot tougher than people realize. I was unlucky enough to play first base, I think, for like 2 or 3 innings one night when Jason Giambi got a few innings off. And I tell you what, I felt like a fish out of water out there. I mean, it's just a whole new experience when you're either a catcher going out there or a guy like Johnny Damon coming in from center field.
The 2-2. Fly ball left field. Burns is there, and Edgar Gonzalez in relief works a 1-2-3 inning. We've played 5. Yankees lead Arizona 7-1. You are watching Yes. Hey, this weekend it's round 2 of the Subway Series as the Yankees host the crosstown rival Mets at the stadium. Friday night's coverage begins at 6 with batting practice today and the pregame show. Then come back to Yes after the game on My 9 for postgame insights and analysis. Then on Saturday, Yes has full Game 2 coverage beginning at noon. Our Subway Series coverage starts Friday at 6. It's right here on Yes. We go to the 6th inning. And Quinton swings at the first pitch, a worm burner to A-Rod across the diamond, 1 away. 1 pitch, 1 out. Mike Messina tied with 3 others for the most wins ever in interleague play. Freddie Garcia, Aaron Seeley, and Greg Maddux, all with 19, followed by Mark Mulder, Al Leiter, and Levon Hernandez, all with 17. 7-9-0 Yankees, 1-3-0 for the Diamondbacks. Here's Eric Burns. Messina with just 65 pitches, over 5 1/3. Count 1-0. What are you seeing from Mike while he's been effective the last 2 starts, John?
Well, you know, we talked about it earlier. You know, if he can locate that fastball down and away, everything else falls into place after that. But he's been throwing a lot of strikes tonight. Getting a young hitting ball club to swing early in the count. And now he gets behind 2-0. And when the first hitter, Quinton, he swings at that first pitch, a ground ball, you get an easy out. You would like to bear that next pitch, the first pitch to Eric Burns right down the middle. And assuming that he's going to take, Mike decided to go with an off-speed pitch, and now he's behind 2-0.
Now, how important is it for Messina to throw a first pitch strike? When hitters are 1-0 against him, they hit .364. Slow roller to A-Rod. He charges, fields, fires, and a nice scoop by Cairo to save an E5 and record the out. Outstanding play by Miguel Cairo.
Well, we saw a bunch of great plays from Miguel Cairo last night, but you know what, a utility infielder, he's used to taking ground balls all over the place, but he's probably not used to this right here, these throws that are down in the dirt. It's just good hand-eye coordination. You see Alex charges the ball well, gets a nice transfer, the throw's just a little bit low. Miguel Cairo takes care of that. Take another look on the cannon power shot. A nice throw from down 3/4. If you're going to make your mistake, make it low and give your first baseman a chance to pick it, which Miguel Cairo does again and again.
A-Rod fired up. There's Connor Jackson, who is 0 for 2. one's driven deep to left field. Backing up Matsui. Still back. Track. Wall. See ya. Solo home run, Connor Jackson. And the Yankee lead is now 7-2.
See Mike Mussina talking to himself right there. First pitch breaking ball, and it's a get-me-over curveball. It's not the good one that you throw at 2 strikes. It's just a roller that you throw in there for a strike. You're thinking that a young hitter seeing curveball isn't going to swing, and Connor Jackson jumped all over it. See the back leg right here. He falls back on that back leg. Good power to left center. You know, Mike Mussina, not the worst thing in the world. You have 2 outs, you give up a solo home run, you still have a 5-run lead. You regroup and you get out of this inning and go to work in the 7th.
Pitch to Orlando Hudson is low, 1-0. They're trying to get the ball through the net, and I just don't think it fits. Strike, 1-1. Connor Jackson is 5th home run of the year, 22nd ribby. And a 1-1. 2-1. Mike Mussina's thrown 72 pitches, 51 strikes, 21 balls. Outstanding strike to ball ratio. Line drive center field coming on. Damon slides, can't make the play. Hudson falls around first. They got the ball in quickly, almost got him with too far of a turn, but he scrambled back. Damon has not played center field in about 2 weeks, and if he was on, he makes that play.
Yeah, you got to believe that Johnny Damon's legs were 100% healthy, and you can see right there he stutter steps just a little bit, enough to cost him this ball. It just short hops him, and he comes up, heads up throw here to first base. He sees Orlando Hudson trip around first, but he stutter steps a little bit, and it's just enough to kind of make him late on this play. Keeps it in front. See it again on the cannon power shot. Just out of his reach, but the jump off the bat is where he did not make that play.
Here's Chad Tracy. You know, I think all that DHing did, I think it gave Damon a little more juice in the arm. He's made 2 pretty decent throws. Hasn't had to throw for a while. And a strike along with John Flaherty on Michael Kay. And you're watching Yankees baseball on Yes. The Yankees lead 7-2 as they try for their 8th straight win. We're in the top of the 6th inning here at the stadium. Mussina 75 pitches, 53 strikes. And the 1-1. 1-2. Popped up. Left side. A-Rod can't make the play. Right into the camera well.
See Alex Rodriguez hustling it up, but what you want to do if you can is to get to the wall as quick as you can. This ball just falls out of room for Alex Rodriguez. I'd like to get to that rail and kind of make the play. It just the ball wasn't high enough. See Alex a little frustrated about that. And even on a play like that, you know, the wind comes into play. You're just not quite sure which way the wind is going to blow that ball. Just out of his reach.
And that wind has been active all night. Only Evers taking care of his mask. One of the straps seemed like it came undone. Orlando Hudson will lead off first. 2 men out, held there by Cairo. Yankees lead 7-2, top of the 6th. behind the plate, and that'll make the screen. After all the years of crouching, you ever like sitting around the house and you just go into a catcher's crouch, John?
Not around the house. My kids have me in the backyard working on catching. I have 2 sons, and they're both into catching. They have the gear and the whole 9 yards, so I find myself crouching in the backyard. My daughter pitches softball, so I'm back there working with her. And luckily enough for me, I never had any knee problems, so it's still something I could do at this point.
1-2. Swing and a miss. Tracy down on strikes. So the Diamondbacks creep back just a little bit. Connor Jackson with a home run. 1 run on 2 hits. No errors on 1 left. Ball in the dirt. Tracy could not hold up. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. 7-2 Yanks. Hey, never let another big game get away. With WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore, we're giving you 2 more chances to see the game everyone's talking about. WB Mason Presents Yankees Encore later after each game and again the next morning at 9 only on Yes. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Derek Jeter leads off. It'll be Jeter, Abreu, and Rodriguez against Edgar Gonzalez on a relief of Livan Hernandez. 7-2 Yanks. And the pitch to Jeter is a strike. And that's a strike as well. Jeter's looking for a run scored in this game because he scored 1 in 10 consecutive games. And only Mike Napoli of the Angels has had a streak that long this year. The last Yankee to score in 11 straight games, Derek Jeter, in 2004. Count 1-2.
Gonzalez is trying to do, ride that fastball up and in like a lot of pitchers try and do on Derek Jeter. He kind of leans into the plate. He leans in there with his hands. He ran 2 of them up and in on his hands. We'll see if he goes to something off speed away.
John, you played against Jeter for many years when you were with Tampa Bay. You gain a different appreciation when you see him every day?
Oh, there's no doubt, Michael. I mean, you know, back then when I was with Tampa Bay, you had the big 3, Nomar Garciaparra, Alex Rodriguez, and Derek Jeter, the great shortstops in the American League. And if you would have asked me back in my Tampa Bay days, I would have said probably Alex Rodriguez is the guy that you would think is the best. Now, after playing with Derek for 3 years, there's no doubt that he would be the one guy that you would want to take.
Really, over those other 2?
Yeah, and it's because of the things that you don't read about in the paper or you see in a box score. You know, the guy who wants to be up there in the big spot, the guy who always seems to come up with the big hit when you need it. You know, he leads by example. He's not a very vocal leader, but he leads by example. And you know what? He thinks he's the best player on the field every day he steps on the field. I mean, the confidence is incredible. And it's not arrogant. It's just confident.
And he gets hit there on the 3-2 pitch, so Jeter will take first.
We talked about it. Pitchers like to go in on Derek Jeter. You see this one just looks like it clips his belt buckle maybe a little bit there.
I wonder if he said it hit him because he didn't give the hand motion. Maybe he did. Maybe it was just ball 4.
But getting back to Derek Jeter point, I mean, you know, the ability to slow the game down when he gets in the big spot, you know, it's just it's at a different level. The way he can relax out there and never let the big situation get to him, it's just one of those things that you can't teach. And, you know, I've never played with a player. I played with a lot of great players on different teams who seem that confident in his ability every day.
And it's not cocky.
Oh, no, it doesn't come off that way at all. It's just a confident player.
This copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the New York Yankees. It may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the aforementioned New York Yankees. In a rough 2 games for Bob Melvin here so far in New York. His team trailing 7-2. They lost last night 4-1. Here's Bobby Abreu. And one thing I always notice about Jeter, just from the outside looking in, usually somebody that has the things that Jeter has. You know, he's got the rings, he's got the looks, he's got the money. You know, he's the shortstop of the Yankees. That there would be jealousy, but I don't sense that from other players. I think they think that he's earned what he's got.
Oh, I think that's right on. And you know, like I said, he's not a player who, when you play against him, he rubs you the wrong way.
Right.
Because everything he does is in the parameters of the game. He runs hard, he plays hard, he slides hard, he gives you good at bats. You know, there's not a whole lot of showboating to Derek Jeter's game. So you can see him even peeking in here, trying to get an advantage to see if he could pick up a sign, maybe steal a base.
There's a strike, and Bobby Abreu cannot believe that was called a strike. Neither can Jeter. He just said unbelievable.
You know, an umpire does a good job when you never really know he's there, and Bill Welke has gained a lot of attention tonight. A lot of hitters, a lot of pitchers have questioned pitches. You see Derek, even from first base, he doesn't like that call. And the thing that'll frustrate you is if he has a big zone early and then he tightens it up in certain situations and then goes back to a big zone later on. That's one of the things that frustrates players.
That gets away from Montero, but Jeter stays put.
You know what impresses me about Derek Jeter, too? I mean, after all the World Series that he has won, you would think at some point you'd kind of relax a little bit and maybe, you know, you've won your World Series, but it seems like every year there's a drive for him to win again and again and again. It's impressive to see.
And the weird part, John, I have never, in all the years that I've been around him, ever seen him wear any of his World Series rings. It's like those are done, they're in a closet somewhere, and he has this insatiable desire to get more. I think he always wanted to get the 10 that Yogi has. You know, he's had a long drought without him. He's a little spoiled. He had 4 in his first, let's see, 6 years in the bigs. Fly ball, shallow center. Chris Young is there. His first 5 years, 4 and 5. So Bobby Abreu flies out to center. And here's Alex Rodriguez. A-Rod's driven in 3 runs today, a long home run off the facing of the left field upper deck in the 3rd, a single through the left side of the infield in the 4th. And a strike. Leads the major leagues by 10 over Maglio Ordonez of the Tigers. He was laughing about something at first.
Got a lot to smile about.
The 0-1. Foul back. A-Rod might have just missed the second home run.
Well, he had a good swing, and you know, one thing that I saw today when I got to the ballpark that I had never seen before: Alex Rodriguez, Robinson Cano get another look with that good swing. Alex knows he just missed that one. Alex Rodriguez, Melky Cabrera, and Robinson Cano were running pass patterns in the outfield.
They've been doing that for about a week now. Weird, but with a baseball, not with a
baseball, not with a football. They have their gloves on. They run the pass pattern. I think Mike Borzella was throwing the balls today, and you know, just one of those things to get their legs loose before batting practice. And you know, it was impressive to see before BP a bunch of the Yankees out here doing a little bit of extra work.
Blocked there by Montero, and that's a nice, innovative way to get people to run. You know, rather than just running monotonous without any place to go, you're running pass patterns.
Those nice things to see too. You know, a veteran guy like Alex Rodriguez taking some of these young guys under his wing, so to speak, and showing them this is the way you have to work in order to be successful.
A-Rod goes down on strikes. Second time tonight.
Gonzalez has got a good fastball, and he's showing you a nice tight slider right here. He gets Alex fooled by the velocity, by the change in speeds and the break. Gonzalez is the long guy for this Diamondback team, and you know what? He throws a lot of strikes, got a good arm, and shows you a good off-speed pitch right there. The ability to strike Alex Rodriguez out.
Swing and a miss. Posada got the Yankees on the board in the second inning with a solo home run. The 0-1. 1-1. Rockies lead the Red Sox 6-2 in the sixth inning. So if those two scores hold up, Yankees leading 7-2 and the Rockies leading 6-2, the Yankees will close to within 8.5 of the Red Sox. Jorge Posada is looking to close in on the bench coach Don Madden, Yankees all-time list. 14 more. Check that, 18 more. Goes 2-1 is grounded up the middle, grabbed there by Drew. He makes the out at first, and Jeter stays put at second, but that's the final out anyway, as he was running and probably would have made it if Jorge had not hit the ball. So no runs, no hits, no errors, and one man left on base. We go to the seventh inning. It's 7-2 Yankees. Well, Mike Messina's done a good job over 6 innings, and he's gotten some strikeouts as well.
The strikeout on the good fastball down and away. Then he goes with the curveball, gets a strikeout. The high fastball coming right here, high cheese. Good fastball in the inside corner. The curveball down, nice block by Will Nieves.
And on the first pitch, a deep drive to left field. Matsui battling the wind, puts it away to retire Reynolds for the first out of the 7th. Boy, that wind is wreaking havoc on fly balls, especially the high fly balls that get above the stands.
See, Hideki Matsui comes to a stop and has to come back in and charge it, and you called it perfectly, Michael. The wind here is blowing big time, wreaking havoc on these fly balls. Mike Mussina will take it. Another one pitch out for him to lead off the 7th inning.
Just 80 pitches over 6 1/3. And now the Diamondbacks seem like they have dinner reservations, jumping on the first pitch, count 0-1.
You know what they're finding out is Mike Mussina is going to throw strikes tonight. You saw that he does not have a walk tonight. He's pounding the strike zone. And if you're a young hitter, I mean, it's tough enough to hit at this level as it is, but the last thing you want to be is behind in the count with a veteran like Mike Mussina. So they're going up there hacking him.
The count 0-2.
Mike has had such a good curveball. That's been his primary off-speed pitch tonight. You know, the changeup was such an effective pitch for him last year, and I really feel like if he starts going to that a little bit more this year, he can play with that 88-mile-an-hour fastball with a good changeup. You know, when you lose a little bit of velocity, you got to start mixing in some other off-speed pitches. He's had a good curveball tonight. He's going with it.
High fly ball, left field, and Matsui for the second out. And Chris Young will dig in against Mussina. And there's a strike. Young with a sac fly lined into a double play. There's a nice breaking ball. Count 0-2. Messina is really dealing.
He dropped down a little bit there too. Went a little, not completely sidearm, just dropped his arm just a little bit. Had Young completely fooled.
Swing and a miss. Another off-speed pitch, and Messina gets the Diamondbacks in order in the 7th as they go down 1-2-3. At the end of 6.5, it is time for the 7th inning stretch. Messina picks up strikeout number 6. Yankees lead 7-2. And here at the stadium, we honor America by listening to the voice of the stadium, Mr. Bob Shepard.
Now, please offer a moment of silent prayer as we remember the servicemen and women who are stationed around the globe, and especially remember those who have lost their lives defending our freedom and our way of life.
Nancy Newman in our Yes Studios with the Tri-State Ford update. To Fenway we go. Interleague play. Rockies Red Sox. Bases loaded with 2 out, and that's Todd Helton. Slicing it to left off Javi Lopez. It gets by Manny Ramirez. 3 runs come around to score on the double by Helton. So the Rockies jump out 9-2. Now Kurt Schilling lasting just 5 innings while allowing 6 runs on 9 hits and stands to be the loser after his near no-hitter. Much more on the postgame. Back to Michael Winslow.
Thank you, Nancy. Here at the stadium, we're in the bottom of the 7th inning. Yankees leading 7-2. Alex Rodriguez with 3 RBIs, a home run. Jorge Posada with a home run, and the man at the plate, Hideki Matsui, with a 3-run shot. Yankees lead 7-2, 7-9-0, beating 2-5-0. Edgar Gonzalez in his 3rd inning of work, relieving Livan Hernandez, who gave up all 7 runs over the first 4. Matsui leads off. He is 2 for 2 with a walk. And the pitch is a strike. Matsui pushing his numbers up to where he expects them to be. And the 0-1. There's a strike, and the count 0-2. Strike 3, outside corner. Gonzalez has been impressive. 1 away.
It's 3 pitches, and they're all in the outside corner, perfectly located. You see this ball here starts on the corner, maybe moves off just a little bit. And you know what? Bill Welke's been calling strikes tonight, and Gonzalez located on the outside corner. He got the call.
Here's Robinson Cano. Cano is 1 for 3. And the pitch. Foul back. Count 0-1. Ron Vallone warming in the Yankee bullpen.
You know what, Michael, and you know, Joe Torre won't let his players think this way, but you got to start thinking about maybe what this streak can get to. See the foul ball from Robinson Cano, but Yankees playing good baseball. Won 7 in a row. Things are looking good tonight at the end of the ball game. You finish up tomorrow a day game, and then you have the Mets coming in here, who are beat up a little bit. Have a nice off day on Monday. Go to Colorado, a team that you think you should play well against, and then fly to San Francisco. So, you know, you hate to look too far ahead, but this might be a really nice stretch for the Yankees where you can make some hay in the division. One thing Joe Torre and his staff won't let happen is, you know, the looking too far ahead. You take care of each day, each game. And Brian Bruni joining Ron Vallone. We're allowed to look ahead up here.
Absolutely. Ground ball up the middle. Hudson. The jump pass to first. And Tracy can't come up with it. There's the difference. I mean, you can't say that he should come up with that. But a good team makes that play. And Miguel Cairo made that play on Alex Rodriguez. And that time Tracy could have saved a base hit right there. They give Hudson. They don't give Hudson the E4, which I think is kind of generous. If it's a good throw, they got him.
It's a good throw, and I think he's probably kicking himself right now. He probably had enough time to plant on his back right leg and make a good strong throw. He opts to go with the Derek Jeter jump and come up with a throw. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the arm strength that Derek Jeter has, and he short hops it. And like you said, Tracy doesn't have the ability to pick it out of the dirt.
20th multi-hit game of the year for Cano. He has 2 tonight.
But just notice right there, Joe Torre and Don Mattingly sitting down on the bench now. So they've changed it up in there a little bit.
Odd.
Yeah.
Maybe we have to start paying closer attention. Maybe it's just the first 6 innings this time.
Maybe it's for certain hitters. It's just bad scouting on our part right there. We got to get on top of that.
Tomorrow we'll keep a closer eye. I'm going to take total blame on that, John. You got other things to attend to. I could look at that stuff.
Okay, I'll let you take blame, and then I'll let you accept the responsibility.
Well, I'm going to give you the responsibility of saying that was a balk. No argument from Gonzalez.
You can see Gonzalez probably thinks he gets a sign. Looking in for the signs. He starts and then stops and steps off, and that's a balk. Montero going through a sequence of signs. He thinks he gets it, then he's not sure, and he just gets a little confused and gets caught up in his delivery. Obviously a balk.
Well, if you're an up, you really have to be on every second. You couldn't have been daydreaming there, or you would have missed that, because not that it was imperceptible, but you really had to be watching Gonzalez closely. High fly ball, right center. Carlos Quinton puts it away for the second out. Did you read that story that Tom Verducci wrote in SI where he was an umpire for a spring training game?
No.
He said the pressure was just extraordinary. Just extraordinary from a pitch-to-pitch basis. All the responsibility that you don't think that they have, but they have so much responsibility on every pitch. And he gained a grand appreciation of what they do.
You know, it's funny, even from a player's standpoint, working with the umpires behind home plate, and they work their 1 game out of 4 behind home plate, and you feel like they have a day off when they go down to third, and they have a day off when they go to second. The first base umpire has a little more responsibility with all the pickoff plays and all that stuff. See Wally Bell, last night's home plate umpire, but you're right, they have to be on top of the box, they have to be on top of balls down the line. Never a day off for these guys.
Pitched in the Ennis is outside.
How many times these umpires get told, you know what, you had a really good game tonight. You know, I'm sure amongst themselves they talk about it, but how many players would actually tell an umpire you did a nice job tonight? Probably hardly ever happens.
Would you as a catcher ever do that?
I would. You know, I would. If I had a good relationship with a guy and I thought he had a good night, you know, depending on the ball game. Obviously, late in the ball game, if it's a close game, you're not going to have that give and take with an umpire. But in a situation like this, even, you know, a Mike Mussina, if he throws a good game, I don't think he thinks that Bill Welke did a great job tonight. But if he thought he did a nice job as he's walking off the mound, he would acknowledge the home plate umpire and say nice job. And it's probably little things like that that keep these guys going.
Grounded to third to foul ball. And if you think about the existence they have, you know, each team is home half the year. They're never home. I mean, maybe they have home base in one of the cities in which they umpire. Does that get you home 20 days a year? So it's tough.
Okay, you know, they have some vacation time. I'm not sure the exact amount of time that they have, but I know talking to these guys during my career, you know, when they went home, it was a big deal to be home for a week or 10 days. So, like you said, always on the road.
Count 2-2. But the one thing they have, and as baseball players as well, they're home all winter if they choose to be. (7-2) Yankees lead. We're in the bottom of the 7th inning. And the 2-2. Foul back.
The one thing I was surprised at, I mean, getting back to the umpires, I actually had an injury when I was with Tampa, and I had to rehab during the winter with a therapist. And there were like 3 or 4 umpires that were in there during the winter. The same thing. They have injuries during the year. You know, a lot of knee problems, a lot of neck problems. These guys are going through the grind in the gym just like the players are.
2-2. Broken bat for Nieves. Nieves has done a nice job behind the plate, but you know he wants to pick up a hit here. He's reached base once on a walk. He's hitting 125, and he doesn't want to look up and see that. He also wants to solidify his standing on this team because we know that he can catch. But you don't want him to be an automatic out either. The 2-2, but really hanging in there against Gonzalez.
A lot of times as a backup player, your personality for the next 4 or 5 days depends on this at bat right here. I mean, obviously you'd be happy if the Yankees win and you do a good job behind the plate. But if you can come through with a base hit here and you finish up your day 1 for 3, you're going to have a nice 4 or 5 days looking forward to your next start. If you don't, you go 0 for 3, then you're back in the cage working at it again for a couple of days.
Nice block there by Montero, and the count is full at 3-2. And the more, and you see Melky Cabrera's on deck, the more Nieves could play, and Joe Torre feels that it's not an automatic out, the better it is for Posada in August and September. Because Posada really does play a lot, and he is up there in the age now where catchers are usually on the downside, but he has had a tremendous offensive year to this point, but you don't want him to wear it down.
I also think mentally, if you can look at your rotation and say, you know what, I'm going to have this night off, and you can prepare for it, I think mentally you look forward to the break, able to relax a little bit more.
Hit sharply to Tracy, and he'll step on the bag to finish it up for the final out of the 7th. In the 7th inning, no runs, a hit, no errors, and 1 man left on base. We go to the 8th at 7-2 Yanks. Well, we go to the 8th inning here at Yankee Stadium, and Mike Messina comes out to pitch the 8th. He's done a very nice job so far, giving up just 5 runs. Check that, 5 hits and 2 runs. And this is the way Joe Torre envisioned this season going. His start is giving him length. You see Melky Cabrera takes over in center, tightening up the defense out there, replacing Johnny Damon. Messina's thrown just 86 pitches. And one thing I've noticed last couple of starts, John, is that I'm Mike, is that he is pitching economically. Do you think he's doing that saying, listen, I don't have that many pitches in my arm per game, so I can't be that careful on a pitch-to-pitch basis. There's a deep fly ball to right, and Abreu makes the catch.
I don't think so, Michael. I think what has happened here is that he's probably got himself straightened out mechanically, and his control is just better. So you know what, when your control's better, you're going to be able to throw more strikes. And you know, there really have been maybe few and far in between pitches tonight that have just gotten away from him. Maybe 2 or 3 that I can remember.
But John, even when he had good stuff, and you watched him pitch, he'd be 0-2. You'd blink, he'd be 3-2 because he always wanted to make that perfect, nasty pitch. It seems like he's going right at people now, even on 0-2.
Yeah, and I think you have to look at the matchups a little bit, too. You know, the White Sox were a team that was struggling. This team, the Diamondbacks, not very good offensively. Obviously, you're going to have a lot more confidence throwing the ball over the plate to a club like this than you would be maybe a Boston Red Sox or, you know, a powerhouse in the American League. But the good news for Joe Torre and Ron Guidry, that one of the question marks in your rotation seems to have figured it out. And that's really what you know, you got the offense locked in right now. What you want to get is your top 4 guys. And that's, you know, Andy Pettit, Mike Messina, Chimney Wong, and Roger Clemens. You want to get all of those guys locked in at the same time. And that's when you go on these really good runs.
And that was the key. When the Yankees are struggling in April and May, people do forget that right at the beginning of the season, the first month, they lost 4 of their first 6 starters. And they're sending rookie pitchers out there, and each time a rookie pitcher goes, you do not know for sure what he's going to give you, and it's hard to put together a streak. I mean, they've already used 12 starters this year. So now, when you've got 4 legitimate veterans in the rotation, you got a chance to run off 8 out of 9, 10 out of 12, and right now the Yankees are headed toward their 8th straight. It's no coincidence. It's when their rotation has been put together.
That's exactly right. And, you know, you get the top 4 throwing. Well, you worry about that number 5 spot. You know, that was always one of those days where you say, all right, boys, offensively, we got to pick it up tonight to take care of our number 5 starter.
And that number 5 starter is Tyler Clippard. He's going to start Saturday against Tom Glavine and the Mets here at the stadium, but they've got a wild card down in Scranton Wilkes-Barre. It seems like Kei Agawa's getting worked out. He's pitched 2 good starts in a row, and if Clipper doesn't turn things around, then they give Kei Agawa a shot. But it's not like you have to have 4 starters that you're searching for. You're really just looking for 1, and that's a much better situation to be in.
And I've had the ability to talk to the Scranton pitching coach, Dave Island. There you see a look at Chien-Ming Wang. And, Agawa's pitching tomorrow in Charlotte. And he said, he's figured some things out. I mean, his location is better. His slider is better. But there's still a question mark with that changeup. And that was the one pitch we heard was his strength. And it hasn't been so over here.
Breaking ball, beautiful pitch as Quinton goes down looking. Hey, fans, tonight and throughout the Yankee season, our guys are allowing you to vote along with all of us here in the booth for the Chevrolet Player of the Game. Text your vote to 55222, or for more information, visit ChevyOffers.com. You can vote right up until the end of the game. Vote now and make your voice heard. Tonight's candidates are number 1, Mike Mussina, number 2, Alex Rodriguez, number 3, Hideki Matsui, number 4, Jorge Posada. Standard text messaging rates apply. Right now, Mike Mussina looks like a pretty good choice. Here's Eric Burns, and the pitch just missed. 1-0.
Take a look at the last strikeout. It's a curveball, and it falls to the inside corner.
And that is his 7th strikeout, which is his season high. And this is Messina's longest outing since he pitched a complete game at Detroit, May 31st of last year. And boy, has he been waiting for this. We told you that he had not had a win in his last 5 starts. And the 2-0. Strike on the outside corner, 2-1. Also, he has not thrown 100 pitches in each of his last 11 starts, and he's at 98 right now. So he's breaking a lot of barriers tonight, unless he gets Burns on this pitch. The 2-1. Foul back, so he will throw 100 pitches with this pitch coming up. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks in-game box score, sponsored by Hummer. Just 5 hits, 2 by Orlando Hudson, a home run by Connor Jackson, a ribby by Chris Young on a sac fly, Mark Reynolds 1 for 3, a double, and a run scored. Crowd of 53,891 with the Moose call, looking for strikeout number 8. Almost got it. He stays alive with a foul tip. '73 strikes, 27 balls, an outstanding almost 3-to-1 strike to ball ratio. This is the first time Mussina has thrown 100 pitches since September 17th of last season against the Red Sox. And the 2-2. Line base hit to left field. So Eric Burns keeps the 8th inning alive. And that is going to do it for Mike Mussina. Joe Torre will go to the bullpen, and you see the infield will descend on the pitcher's mound and congratulate Mussina on a job well done. And you can see Joe Torre saying, good job. Almost as if, did I keep you long enough that time? And a huge ovation as the Yankees go to the bullpen. Well, the game summary presented by Sharp Aquos, the official HD TV of Major League Baseball. Rodriguez with that long home run off the facing the upper deck. Mike Mussina dealing, doing a great job. And all of that adds up to Yankees 7, Arizona 2, as Brian Bruni comes on in relief of Mussina and throws a strike to Connor Jackson. Season high 101 pitches, season high 7 strikeouts. Look at the walks, 0. And that is so huge. Count 1-1.
Brian Bruni gets an opportunity to come in here and face his old team. You see the numbers outstanding. The ERA 2.25. Strikeouts 25 and 28 innings, but he's coming in here throwing hard. Good fastball, slider, change.
Pitchers took BP today, and Larry Bowa was all over Brian Bruni. You can't hit one out. And Bruni hit one out, first pitch he saw, and then he signed the ball to Bowa. Brian Bruni, Oregon State home run champion. Kim Jones told that story on the pregame show. She was there during BP. Runner goes, pitch is swung on, and a long drive to left center. But Melky Cabrera got a good jump. He hauls it in Death Valley for the final out of the 8th. So Mike Messina likes it. His night is complete. Yankees need 3 more outs, and Messina picks up the victory, and the Yankees get their 8th straight. No runs to hit, 1 man left. It's time for the Yankees in-game box score, sponsored by Hummer. There are 10 hits in there. Jeter with a double, 8-game hitting streak. Abreu with a single, and that's a 12-game hitting streak, scored 2 runs. A-Rod 2 for 4, a home run. 3 ribbies, 2 runs scored. Posada with a home run. Matsui with a big 3-run home run, really broke this one open. Cano, his 20th multi-hit game of the year, and Miguel Cairo picked up a double. So we go to the bottom of the 8th inning. Now, check this young lady out. Is that almost a dead ringer for Courtney Cox of Friends? No reaction, Flaherty? That doesn't look like Courtney Cox?
I mean, it could be a distant cousin.
Oh, stop.
I'm not going with his sister.
Oh, that's ridiculous. She looks just like her. There's a young me. Cabrera swings at the first pitch, and there's one away. New pitcher is Hylan Peguero. This is only his 3rd game.
A young pitcher with a good fastball, 92, 93 miles an hour, also a slider. Another one of these youngsters getting his feet wet at the big league level.
I ask you for one agreement, and you throw me right under the bus. Distant cousin.
What was the young me? What was that all about?
That's what the guys in the truck thought. The little kid looked like how they picture that I looked when I was 10. It's close.
Actually, that's a dead-on ringer right there.
But Courtney Cox, no. Monica Geller, we don't get.
Distant cousin.
You're nuts. There's a strike. If you say she looked like Courtney Cox, right? You know she's going to try to call yes and get a tape of, the game. Instead, you're giving the distant cousin. Now she's not going to. Pitch is upstairs. Flaherty speechless here in the bottom of the 8th. Pitch to Jeter's inside, 3-1. Seven 10-0 Yankees, 2-6-0 for Arizona. Line to left field. Burns makes the play. 2 down. Hey, tomorrow it's an afternoon matinee on Yes, so mark this down as the Yankees close out their series with the Diamondbacks right here at the stadium. The coverage is going to begin at noon with batting practice today, followed by the Tri-State Ford pregame show, and then stay tuned for all the action at first pitch. Yankees, Diamondbacks, tomorrow starting at noon only on Yes. If the Yankees hold on here, they'll be going for their 9th straight win tomorrow, and it's going to be Doug Davis for the Diamondbacks against Andy Pettitte for the Yankees.
Doug Davis had a tough outing his last time out against the Boston Red Sox, so we'll see how he does tomorrow.
Pitch to Abreu, strike.
You always feel good about Andy Pettitte when he toes the hill. He's been throwing real well this year. The numbers aren't as good in the win column as they probably should be, but throwing the ball as good as anybody this year.
Update on the score. Boston's losing 9-2 to Colorado. That's in the 8th inning. Again, if those scores hold up, the Yankees then, now it's 12-2, I'm told. The Yankees will move to within 8.5, and a little over 2 weeks ago, it was a 14.5 game deficit. So things are getting a little interesting. The 0-2. Swing and a miss, and Abreu is down on strikes. Yankees go down in order against Highland Peguero. Last licks coming up for Arizona. They lead 7-2. Now, between innings on the stadium scoreboard, they play a John Flaherty retrospective piece with all the highlights of your career. And it's emotional, it's jarring, it gets you choked up watching it. And Jorge Posada pointing up to the booth, what was that?
Look at it. The move right here, the salute is perfect. Now, that goes back to Gary Tuck days. Sergeant Todd, a little salute.
The pitch to Hudson's outside 1-0. That's moving.
Moving.
It was moving.
My boy Mike Bonner taking care of me right there. St. Joe's graduates hanging together.
Was that the high school you went to?
Yes. Yeah.
The beautiful Christmas story, John.
Bringing a tear to your eye?
Well, I mean, the video did. I can't get any more choked up. I have a game to do. The 2-0. A little bit low, 3-0. Yankees lead 7-2. Brian Bruni on in relief of Mike Messina, who really pitched a very good ball game tonight. And there's a strike. Now, we told you about Bruni hitting the home run. Chin-Ming Wong was up. He hit a home run during batting practice for pitchers, and the entire, pitching staff is around the batting cage watching. And the next pitch from Ron Guidry was pitching batting practice right behind Chin-Ming Wong's head. That's the way it's done.
Old school baseball.
That's
right there.
Little Louisiana Lightning. 3-2, and Hudson walks. Yes, we know Yankee fans want more than just the typical post-game coverage. Well, stay tuned after the last out for the Nissan post-game with Nancy Newman to get in-depth highlights and analysis of this battle with the Diamondbacks. Plus, Kimberly Jones roves the clubhouse for interviews that you won't get anywhere else. The Nissan post-game immediately following the game, and it's only on Yes. Here's Chad Tracy. Yankees trying to get over 500 for the first time since, get this, April 20th, when they were 8-7. They're at 500 now for the first time since they were 16-16. Nub slowly at the third baseline. That's going to be a base hit. Could not have rolled it in a better spot than that. Infield single for Tracy.
See, Ron Guidry goes to the phone right now. You know what? The leadoff walk is the one that bothers you. Here's a really good changeup from Brian Bruni. Right off the end of the bat, like you said, Michael, just placed perfectly.
Third baseman, Mark Reynolds.
Ron Guidry called to the bullpen. You see Mike Myers gets going.
Now, is anything of value set at the mound right now, John, or is it just stalling for Myers?
Now, this is completely stalling right here, and you know what? There are a lot of times when, as a catcher, you're told to go out there from the dugout, and I would be brutally honest with the pitcher. I'll just say, listen, they told me to come out here. We're just stalling for a little time. And
so you never try to make small talk?
No, I mean, they know what you're doing. They know what the situation is, so you just try and be as honest as you can. And you know what? You go back there and you hope for a double play ball right here and see if you can work your way out of this inning. But like I said, the infield hit's not the problem. It's a leadoff walk, and that's the one thing with Brian Bruni. I mean, he's been impressive here in his Yankee days, but in order to get to that next level, he's got to eliminate some of the walks.
There's Mark Reynolds. Pitch is high. And even Mariano Rivera grabbing a baseball. There's a strike.
We talked about it a little bit last night, Michael. I think Joe Torre's trying to figure out his bullpen, trying to figure out, which guys are going to fit in the 7th, 8th innings. And Brian Bruni has the arm for that. I mean, he has the ability to be a late inning guy. It's just eliminating the walks, kind of tighten up the control a little bit. Once that happens, you'll see him jump to the back of the bullpen.
Blistering fastball, 97 miles an hour. that pitch right there is why they realize how valuable Bruni could be.
Oh, he really could be a big piece, you know, and he's one of those guys almost like a Canyon Sturts when he came on the scene years ago. And then the next thing you know, he was a middle guy. Then the next thing you know, he got locked in mechanically, and he was a setup guy at the end of the year. So I think the Yankees are looking for Brian Bruni kind of to graduate to that next level.
And Reynolds down on strikes, 1 away. That's just pure country hardball right there. Here's a fastball.
And look at the location. It's not located very well. It's right down the middle. Like you said, it's good old-fashioned hardball baseball. Looks like Joe Torre's going to make a move.
So Joe's going to go to the left-hander Mike Myers with Stephen Drew due up. So Bruni gives up a walk, a slow roller up the third baseline, and a strikeout. So Myers will come in. Myers against Drew. Yankees trying to hold on to a 7-2 lead. Come on bat for Myers against Drew. Never let another big game get away. With WB Mason presents Yankees Encore, we're giving you 2 more chances to see the game everyone's talking about. WB Mason presents Yankees Encore later after each game, and again the next morning at 9 only on Yes. Stephen Drew against Mike Myers, Yankees' third pitcher. Brian Bruni came on to get the final out of the 8th. First and second, 1 out in the 9th. He turns it over to Myers. See Myers' numbers, his 31st game. And there's a slow breaking ball for a strike. Oh, 0-2. First and second, 1 out. Top of the 9th inning, Yankees leading 7-2. Myers works from the extreme third base side of the rubber. Hudson's at second. Tracy's at first. Way outside. You wonder if Myers gets Drew, do they bring in Rivera to face the righty or let Myers face the righty? It's not a save situation. The tying run has to be on deck. Swing and a miss, and Drew down on strikes. Yankees are 1 out away. And it looks like Joe is going to stay with Myers.
And Mike Myers goes with his bread and butter. It's obviously the slider from down under, and you see this ball right here has a little bit of break from left to right. And the one thing I've noticed from Mike Myers, the slider doesn't look as big as I remember it in the past. You know, it looks a little shorter, a little bit tighter. And I'm sure he's looking to get a little more sweep on that slider than it has right now, and that pitch was effective right there.
It's up to Chris Young for the Diamondbacks, and the pitch is low. How do you get more of a sweep?
You know, it's all about arm angles with him. Obviously, you know, he might be a little more on the side of it or a little bit lower than he usually is, but it's just the feel right now. And you know, he's still getting hitters out. It doesn't look as big to me as it has in the past. And when that happens, you got to start mixing in some more fastballs to make that slider a little bit more effective.
And the count 2-0. And the count now 3-0. Now, if Young gets on, then it is a save situation. The Yankees are up by 5. That would mean the tying run would be on deck. So if Young gets on, you're going to see Rivera. And a strike. This could do it. Ground ball to A-Rod across the diamond, and the Yankees have won their 8th game in a row. In the 9th inning, no runs a hit and 2 men left. And the Yankees have won 8 in a row for the first time since May of 2005, when the Yankees ended up winning 10 straight from May 7th through May 17th. And that was when they started the season 11-19. So a good stretch for the Yankees. 3-run home run by Matsui, a solo shot by Posada, and Alex Rodriguez with a long 2-run shot against the facing of the upper deck in left field. A solid performance all around for the Yankees, and you really have to be most impressed with Mike Messina, John.
Oh, I think Mike Messina, and you know, the number, or the lack of number, no walks, you know, that jumps out at you. His control was outstanding tonight. The curveball was his best pitch, and you know what? When he established the curveball early, his fastball, even though it was only 87, 88 miles an hour, played a little bit harder. So Mike Messina seems to have figured it all out.
Well, just an outstanding night for the Yankees. It's been an outstanding stretch for the Yankees as well, when you consider that they have won 8 in a row and shaved a lot of games off the Red Sox lead. If the Red Sox do lose that game, the Yankees are now 8.5 behind the first place Boston Red Sox. Now, right in front of the Yankee dugout, our very own Kim Jones has Alex Rodriguez. Kim?
Thank you, Michael. Alex, 8 in a row. Are even you impressed with the stretch of baseball this team's playing?
Well, I mean, the team's playing well. I mean, that's what we've expected to do all year, and it's taken us a while, but our pitching's been phenomenal, and our hitting's coming around.
What's it like to hit a home run in this park that high to left field?
Well, it felt good. I mean, I was a little upset about my first at-bat, and that kind of got me going a little bit, and that one felt good.
A rocket like that has to feel different off the bat, though.
Well, it feels great, and especially at home, and especially we needed to move some runs.
That was your 25th home run, Alex, exactly 2 months ahead of your pace from last season. That's so impressive.
Well, again, I think, thank you. I'm trying to stay in the moment and not trying to do too much, and keep working the fundamentals with Kevin every day.
Thank you, Alex. Michael, back to you.
Thanks, Kim. 25 home runs for Alex Rodriguez, and the 3 RBIs in this game give him 66 on the season. So again, a full effort by the Yankees, pitching, defense, hitting, and good work out of the bullpen as well. We come back, we give the awards, and then we have the post game after that. Yankees win 7-2. Chilly night in New York City, but warm for Yankee fans as they see their team win their 8th straight game. Let's take a look at the Geico play of the game. Call Geico and save 15% on your car insurance.
Well, Alex Rodriguez gets the Geico play of the game. A first pitch slider from Livan Hernandez, and watch where this one ends up. Off the facing of the upper deck in left field. It's a complete bomb, and that's your Geico play of the game from Alex Rodriguez.
And that got the Yankees moving. They never looked back. They never trailed again. So they win this one 7-2, 7-10-0 Yanks, 2-7-0 Diamondbacks. The Yankees have won another series. Messina with the win, his first one in 6 tries. Hernandez 5-4 takes the loss. Time of the game an even 3. Rodriguez, Posada, and Matsui each homered. And Messina 7-2 third inning, 6 hits, 2 runs, did not walk a batter, and he had a season high 7 strikeouts. When we come back, we find out who the Chevy player of the game is. Was it A-Rod? Was it Posada? Matsui? How about Mike Messina? Stick around to find out. Then Nancy and Kim on the post game after that. It is time to announce the Chevy player of the game as voted on by you, the fans, and the 2 of us here in the booth. Who'd we pick, John?
Mike Messina, your Chevy player of the game. 7 2/3 inning, a fastball in the outside corner right there. A season high 7 strikeouts. He had the curveball working as well. And Mike Messina is your Chevy player of the game.
He did a great job, and he evens up his record at 3-3. Gets a huge ovation as he leaves the mound, and the Yankees have won their 8th game in a row. Coming up on the YES Network, stay tuned for the Nissan New York Yankees postgame show with Nancy Newman and Kimberly Jones, featuring complete game analysis and interviews. The senior producer of the YES Network, and tonight's game produced by Kevin Smolin, directed by John Moore, pre- and postgame produced by Bill Boland, and directed by Michael Cooney. Supervising producer Woody Fryman, and the executive producer of the YES Network is Mr. John Filippelli. Join us again tomorrow for Yankees baseball as the Bombers take on the Diamondbacks right here at Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Now, the coverage will begin at noon with batting practice today, followed by the New York Yankees pregame in high definition where available. For more on the YES Network, just log on to YesNetwork.com. Once again, the final score from Yankee Stadium in the Bronx. Yankees win their 8th straight. They beat the Diamondbacks by a 7-2 score. We'll be back from the booth with some final thoughts in just a moment. But now let's go to Nancy Newman, who is standing by patiently in our studios.
Thank you, Michael, and hi there, everybody. Nancy Newman back here with you in our Yes Studios with tonight's edition of the Nissan postgame show. Final score from the Bronx, 7-2 for the Yankees with the victory. The Yanks move a game over 500, and they win for the 8th consecutive time. Let's show you how it all happened, shall we? To the highlights we go, and the game highlights are brought to you by Chef's Diet. Visit them on the web at chefsdiet.com. Here we go. Bottom two, 1-zip Arizona. Hello, Jorge Posada. Leading off the inning with a solo home run off Livan Hernandez, Posada's 206th career home run, moving him past Dave Winfield into 9th all-time on the Yankee home run list. And how about Alex Rodriguez? This is huge. Off the facing of the upper deck. Farewell fly ball, 2-run shot, 25th of this season. And it's 3-1 for the Yankees. Bottom four, A-Rod's next at bat, singles to left. That'll drive in Abreu from second. A-Rod advances to second as the throw gets away from Miguel Montero. So later in the same inning, up comes Hideki Matsui. And he will promptly add to that lead. A 3-run shot of his own. Out to right center, 7th of his season. Go ahead and make it 7-1 Yankees. Top five now with a runner on first, and it's Chris Young lining out to short. Look at Jeter firing to first to catch Stephen Drew too far off the bag for the double play. 7-1 still. Next batter up, Mike Mussina, rolling right along, thank you, catching Montero, looking at strike three to end the inning. In the 6th, after giving up the solo shot earlier in the inning, Mussina comes right back, getting Chad Tracy, and then still going strong, getting Young to end the inning. That's it for Moose. A strong outing as he racks up his season-high 7th strikeout, freezing Carlos Quentin. So 7-2 the final at the end of the day, and the Yankees do indeed count their 8th straight win. So it's 32-31 on the season now. They take the second of 3 from the D-backs. 8 wins in a row, 11 of 13, 32-7 in home games versus the NL since June 12th of 03, the best home record in the majors over that span. So game 5 of the 9-game homestand is a victory, and the Moose gets the win. He's 3-3 now, and the D-backs have dropped 5 of 6. A programming reminder immediately following the postgame show. Stay tuned for another exciting episode of Yes's Ultimate Road Trip Season 3. That is right after the postgame show tonight, and it's only on Yes. Coming up, we will go back to the stadium and talk more about tonight's victory with Michael Kay and John Flaherty. Kim Jones will have reactions from the clubhouse, and we'll check on some of tonight's important out-of-town Major League matchups. It's all ahead on the Nissan postgame show. Nancy Newman back here with you on the Nissan postgame show as we continue to break down the Yankees' 8th consecutive victory. Yet another strong all-around performance for the club. And let's head right back out to the Bronx, shall we, and bring in Michael Kay and John Flaherty, who are on hand to call the action. And guys, let's first talk about this Arizona D-backs team. This is not the Pittsburgh Pirates, counting 21-12 since May 6th rather, so now 21-13. They've been winning at a .636 clip, so this was a pretty good test these first couple of games.
Well, you know, you can't back off what you said earlier, and we've been saying that this week is going to be a litmus test for the Yankees. So if you wanted to knock their 6-game winning streak and say, well, it was against the White Sox, who've been playing poorly, and the Pirates, who really almost a quadruple A team, well, this is going to be a litmus test, and you mentioned their record. That was the best record over that time in the National League. This is a decent National League team. These are 2 impressive wins.
Well, they're 2 impressive wins against 2 quality pitchers. You know, Webb is the defending Cy Young Award winner from last year. The Yankees didn't beat him up, but they did just enough, a 3-run homer. Tonight, you face a veteran like Hernandez, who, you know what, the Yankees, this was a pretty good matchup for them because they don't swing at a lot of pitches off of the plate. They made him throw the ball over the plate, and like you said, they've beaten up on these 2 pitchers. Their offense, the Diamondbacks, that is not the strongest offense in the league, but they did do a nice job, the Yankee hitters, in taking care of the pitching.
And the way the Yankee pitching is and the way the hitting has been, they could really beat anybody right now. And the Yankees were put together. Everybody thought they were, if not the best team in baseball, certainly one of them. And in April and May, they didn't play well, and it was hard to beat anybody. But now that they're clicking and everything is going the way they're supposed to have it go, they can beat anybody. So I think the litmus test portion of the program is over. They can beat any team that's in front of them if they play the way they're supposed to.
And guys, speaking of another good showing, how about Mike Mussina? 2 good outings in a row now. And as you said, John, he straightened himself out mechanically. He was aggressive and successful.
Well, and we talked about it too, Nancy. You know, the one thing, if you pay attention to Mike Mussina early in ball games, if he's dotting that outside corner, and more specifically down and away, it seems like all of his breaking balls and off-speed pitches, they fall into place after that. And from the first inning on, he was hitting that outside corner. But the curveball tonight, Michael, was really the pitch that was dominant for him. He went to it a lot. And even though the velocity hasn't jumped up to maybe the 90 miles an hour that you would like to see, upper 80s is plenty enough when he locates the way he did today. And, you know, the Yankees are hoping that this is one of the question marks that you can now eliminate. Mike Mussina looks like he has himself straightened out. Quality performances back-to-back.
Guys, offensively, the middle of the order, the 4, 5, 6 hitters definitely doing the most damage. A-Rod, Matsui, Posada, all going yard.
You know, it seems like slumping is catching, and I think that hitting well is catching as well. You know, with Bobby Abreu with a 12-game hitting streak, that means that he's always on base for Alex Rodriguez. That's important. You can't pitch around him. Alex Rodriguez is on. That means Posada's going to see pitches to hit. Posada's on. That means Matsui's going to see pitches to hit. It is catching when you look at it that way, John.
No, it is, and it's a lineup right now. We talked about it during the broadcast a little bit. You know, they're firing on all cylinders. I mean, Johnny Damon, maybe he's not locked in, you know, right now, but he's still his way on base. And the rest of the order, it's like, you know, pick your poison if you're an opposing pitcher. If you're going to pitch around somebody, the hitter behind him usually is going to make you pay for it. It happened tonight. Alex Rodriguez hit a big home run. Hideki Matsui had the big 3-run home run. But up and down this lineup, you know, Robinson Cano has been swinging the bat well. And a guy like Miguel Cairo, who gets some spot starts, he's been giving the Yankees a big lift. So there's just nowhere to turn if you're an opposing pitcher right now with all these guys locked in.
And, guys, we know that Joe Torre, he talks about crawling up in increments, getting to that 500 mark, which they've done, 1+ now, 1 game over. Moving up to 5 games over and 10 games over, they are inching ahead.
They are inching ahead, and that's the way the game plan is. And John said this yesterday, and it's so true. You can't even think about contending until you get to 500. Now, ironically enough, the Yankees got to 500 at 31-31. That means there's an even 100 games left. And if you look at this Yankee team, if you want to play that go-ahead game, you know what? It's not that tough for them to play 670 baseball, 650 baseball. If they go 65-35, starting with tonight, then that would give them 96 wins, and that probably gets them in the playoffs.
Yeah, that probably is good enough to get them at least a wild card, you would think. And you don't want to start thinking about wild card now. You know, Boston losing tonight, you know, you're 8.5 games out. And I remember talking a few weeks ago, if you could get to 7 by the All-Star break, you'd be in pretty good shape. Now all of a sudden 7 doesn't look that bad. You might be able to get to 6 or 5, and then you really got a legitimate shot to make a run at this Eastern Division. But right now the Yankees have figured it out. It took 62 games to get over 500, but you know what? You got 100 games left, and you figured your ball club out. There are still some things, you know, maybe the back end of that bullpen to see which guys are going to pitch a 7th and 8th inning. But besides that, everything looks like it's falling right into place.
All righty, guys, so another win in the books. Tomorrow it's Doug Davis versus Andy Pettitte. Give us a quick little preview.
Well, Doug Davis last time out got slapped around by a Red Sox offense, so maybe the Yankees could think this guy doesn't do well against American League offenses. And if you look at the Yankee lineup right now, it's probably more potent than the Red Sox lineup. Andy Pettitte, if he pitches as well as he's been pitching, it's a matchup that seems to be in the Yankee favor.
I don't think there's any doubt. On paper, you would say it favors the Yankees and Andy Pettitte, the way he's been throwing the ball this year. You know, Davis is one of those guys. He doesn't throw real hard. He's a little sneaky. He has a cut fastball. So from the Yankees' perspective, you almost have to face it like, you know, facing Hernandez tonight. Be patient. Make him throw the ball over the plate. And if he does, you'll be able to wear him out.
All right. Thanks, guys, very much. And I'll see you again on the Quick Turnaround tomorrow afternoon.
Sounds good,
right,
Nancy. Have a good night.
You too. Still to come, we will hear what Joe Torre has to say in the wake of the Yankees' latest win. The Nissan postgame show returns after these messages.
You believe Mussina's all the way back now after seeing him the last 2 starts and tonight?
Well, it was good tonight. I mean, he was really good tonight. Pitch count was great. When I took him out, I said, I got you tired this time. But and he was great. I mean, you know, you get a man on base and then, you know, makes a pitch. And, I'm really happy for him because I know that, you know, he's such a perfectionist that when it's not going the way he feels it should, you know, with his stuff, then, you know, he really fights himself. But tonight was good.
Is tonight's win the biggest of the whole group since you're now over 500?
Yeah, you know, we had gotten to 500 one other time since early on in the season, and, you know, then we sort of tumbled. But, you know, we're a different team than we were then. But it's a big win for us because of Mike. I mean, this was a very important game. The fact that, you know, he was in command the whole game.
What'd you think of that blast by Alex?
You know, you never have to look twice. I mean, he killed that ball. And, you know, the base hit was big for us also. It was a good game all the way around. You know, Miggy made a nice play at first base, and, you know, we're looking forward to hopefully just keeping this feeling that we have.
Offensively, Joe, it almost seems like Abreu and Alex play off each other so much now, almost a two-man game in some respects.
You know, Kim, the thing I sense right now is that, you know, since pretty much everybody up and down is, you know, swinging the bats and we're scoring runs now at regularity, is that I don't sense anybody's carrying any, you know, overloaded. And they're not overloaded. You know, we're sort of patient enough to, you know, get a pitch to hit, and we're doing a good job with it, and you know, it feels good. I mean, you know, we have a lot of confidence right now, and we just, as I say, need to make the most of what we're doing.
Was the most impressive part of that fourth inning the fact that you did it all with 2 outs?
2 out, nobody on. Yeah, you know, you get the first 2 guys out, and then Bobby gets the base hit, and then Alex hits the bomb, and then you know, Matsui gets behind in the count and then takes one. It was on the brim of his cap, I think, and he hit the ball out of the ballpark. It was big. I mean, good couple of walks by Georgie, you know, so it was, we worked tonight, and it paid off for us.
Do you almost want to bottle this?
Well, I mean, you'd love it. I mean, you know what happens in this during the season. You know, seasons are usually full of streaks, and you really need to have the good ones outnumber the bad ones. But when you play 162 games, you know, you wonder what happened to your ball club. Like we're saying, you know, what happened to us a month ago. But right now, we're going to try to get the most out of this.
Messina say anything back to you?
Excuse me?
Messina say anything back to you?
He just smiled, believe it or not. Yeah. No, I mean, as I say, I was really happy with him, and that was another one of those innings. You know, one man gets on, we're going to take him out, and he went to 100 pitches because he got the first 2 guys out. But, yeah, he was tired there at the end.
What do you think that meant to him to get the kind of crowd response that he did?
I think it meant a lot. You know, again, Moose doesn't show much, you know, emotions, but just the fact that he acknowledged them the way he did, and you know, everybody was happy for him, and I'm sure he appreciates that.
And speaking of Moose, the crowd saw a great showing from Mike Mussina in his 10th start of the season. He notches the win, improving to 3-3. We will hear from Moose in moments. Welcome back once again to the Nissan post-game show. A 7-2 victory for the Yankees over the D-backs. And Mike Mussina seeking his first victory since May 9th. Got it. Very effective over his last couple of outings. Tonight, 6 hits, a couple of runs, but look at that. No walks over his last 2 starts, including tonight, a season high, 7 strikeouts. Here's Mike Mussina's post-game comments.
Joe said he tired you out tonight, at least.
Yeah, it was a good night to get up to 100 or so, and felt like I could do mostly what I wanted to do. Threw a lot of strikes, got a lot of breaking balls over, and I mean, when you get 7 runs to work with, you don't worry so much about the solo home runs. So just keep doing what we planned on doing, and you know, we're playing well, we're playing good defense, getting big hits, doing all the things we wanted to do all year, and I think we finally got it going in the right direction, and hopefully we can just keep doing what we're doing.
To string this together with your last outing, Mike, do you feel like you have it going in the right direction?
Well, it's in the right direction. Yeah, you want to go out there and do it every time, and you know, we work towards that. And when you got a rotation like we've got going now, with guys healthy and going out there and pitching deep in the games, and you know, you just want to keep it going and be the next guy to, you know, give our guys a chance to win. And, you know, with our guys hitting the ball the way they're hitting it and scoring runs, you know, every day we run out there, the guys playing defense behind you believe you're going to give them a good game, and we believe they're going to score runs for us and play good defense for us. So it turns out to be a solid effort on both sides.
Like the way things are going now, do you guys as a rotation feed off each other now, just trying to outdo each other now every day?
It's not about outdoing somebody. It's just about, you know, doing the job that you're supposed to go out there and do. And if the guy in front of you can do it and the guy behind you can do it, then you should be able to do it too. And it's just, it gets contagious when you play well, and we're playing well. And the hitters feel better when they're in the batter's box, and they feel better standing out there on defense because they know the guys on the mound are going to throw strikes. and not keep him out there very long. And it just all starts to work together. And when you get all those things going at the same time, it's really a lot of fun to play. And right now it's a lot of fun for us to play ball.
How nice was that crowd reaction?
Yeah, the crowd's fun. They know we're playing well. They know we got it going the way we want to get going. And
They appreciated you though tonight.
well, I know, but you know, it's just part of the excitement that we've kind of created now. It's part of the atmosphere that's you know, coming to the ballpark at Yankee Stadium, and it wasn't like this a month ago. And you know, now everybody wants to come out and watch us play, and we want to get out there and keep playing games and keep the momentum going and just feel good about playing. And as long as we keep playing the game like this, we're going to be all right.
Can we go over two things Nieves just said? The first being that he told you he feels like he's almost in your head now.
That's some work if he's going to get in there already. Well, I've had a lot of guys go longer and never got close, so he's doing. We're just whatever it is, we're doing it well. Whatever I don't know if it's the game calling, if it's whatever it is. It's working, and you just don't want to mess with it. If you got something good going, you keep going with it. And you know, it's good for us because you know, he knows he's going to get out there to play. Georgie knows he's going to get some days off, and come the latter part of the year, Georgie's going to need the days off. He's not going to go out there and catch 150-something games and be able to do what he's been doing. So he needs a couple days of DH here and there, a couple days, you know, resting on the bench. And if we can just keep things going like this, you know, he'll get his days off once or twice a week.
The second thing was the umpire said on one of your breaking balls to a righty, man, that was nasty.
Yeah, he told me he said that, but it's probably a 3-2 pitch, and I just nobody was looking for it, including him, and it just turned out to be a good pitch.
So let's take a look at Moose and his catchers, shall we? As he alluded to, he found some chemistry with Will Nieves. Nieves catching his third straight, and they're 3-0 with a 3.25 ERA in those games, and the opposition hitting just .246 against Moose when Nieves is behind the plate. Nieves, a solid backup catcher, turning into one. Let's hear from Will Nieves.
How about Moose tonight? How great was he out there?
He was unbelievable. He threw the ball in the corners, everything for strike, any count, you know, kept the hitter off balance, you know, and he was great. He, like I said, you know, they're an aggressive team. So we took advantage of that, you know, and just made good pitches from the beginning.
And 8 in a row, what's the attitude of the team right now?
That's great, you know, we need that. We need that. We need to keep winning. We're not looking at, you know, what Boston is doing, but I know if we keep doing like this, you know, we're going to catch up.
Well, you've caught Messina a bunch of times now. How much did he need an outing like this?
He's huge, you know, but his confidence now is going way up, you know, and he's still moves, you know, he's still pitching good. His velocity today he was there, you know, that's important for him, and he just threw everything for strike. But for his, you know, for his confidence, this is great. You know, he threw almost 8 innings, so that was good for him.
Did we see the two of you get into about as good a rhythm as you have this season?
That's what I thought. That's what I was talking to him. You know, I say I'm almost in your head, you know, because he's gonna throw whatever he wants to throw, you know. So I'm just trying to learn. He's probably gonna keep shaking me up, but the less, the better.
He's a Stanford guy, you know, and proud of it. What did he say when you said I'm almost in your head?
He say you just keep working. You might be, you know, maybe we get there. But he say don't worry about that. You know, we're working good together. And he said just keep doing a good job like you are.
We'll ask him this too. But what do you think that crowd reaction meant to him?
That's good. Like I say, you know, I'm pretty sure he was pumped up, you know, with the fans yelling and screaming for him like that. So this is good. This is good for him. Like I say, his confidence now is way up, and then hopefully he take that to the next outing.
He has so many pitches. Was everything working tonight? Could you call anything at any time?
Everything. He threw everything. He threw a couple breaking balls, 3-2, just right there where the umpire was telling him, no, that's nasty. So he was pretty good.
The umpire said that was nasty?
Yeah, one of them, the one inside to one of the righties, you know, he said that was a pretty good pitch, So
a big smile on the face of Will Nieves. Still plenty more show to go. Coming up, we'll go around the majors, including a check on the Red Sox and the Tigers. Don't go away. Welcome back once again to the Nissan Post-Game Show. As promised, time to take you around the major leagues. More interleague play. Let's begin with the Red Sox playing host to the Rockies. Matt Holliday chopping it to left. Mike Lowell barehands it. The throw gets away from Kevin Youkilis. So one run scores and Colorado lead 3-zip. Bottom three, Boston down 3-1. Manny Ramirez delivering the base hit to left. Youkilis will come in to score on the single. So it's a one-run ball game. Boston trailing 3-2. Top five, 2 on, 2 out. Brad Hopp taking Kurt Schilling deep and gone. 9th homer of the year for him. The Rockies up 6-2. Top six, bases loaded. Todd Helton slices it to left off Javier Lopez. It gets past Manny Ramirez. All 3 runs will come around to score on the double by Helton. 9-2 Colorado at that point. They go on to win it 12-2. Todd Helton going 1 for 4 with a double and 4 RBI. So that said, let's take a look at the AL East standings, the up-to-date standings. The Red Sox lose, the Yankees win, so the deficit now atop the AL East for the Yankees, just 8.5 games. Elsewhere tonight, the Brewers and the Tigers. Justin Verlander fresh off his no-hitter. Can Mike Maroth follow up? Kevin Mensch looping it to shallow right. Curtis Granderson comes flying over and lays out to make the tremendous diving grab. Bottom 7 with a runner on third. That's Granderson delivering the base hit through the drawn-in infield. Brandon Inge scores. Detroit up 2-1, top 8. A couple out. Bill Hall crushes it deep and gone. Ask Fernando Rodney. 7th home run of his season. The Brewers lead it 3-2. Bottom 9, Francisco Cordero in to shut the door. Gets Granderson to ground out to Prince Fielder to end the ball game. 23rd save for Cordero for the final in this one. 3-2. Maglia Ordonez 2 for 4 with an RBI in the loss. So that is going to do it for this edition of the Nissan Post-Game Show, but make sure you come right back here with us tomorrow afternoon when the Yankees try for their 9th consecutive win as they attempt to sweep the Diamondbacks out of the Bronx. Our coverage begins at noon with the Yankees batting practice today, followed by the pregame show at 12:30 and first pitch shortly after 1 o'clock. So for Michael Kay, John Flaherty, Kim Jones, and the rest of our Yes Network team, I'm Nancy Newman saying thanks for watching, and we will see you tomorrow. Stay tuned now for Yes's Ultimate Road Trip 3.